This year's election will be one of the closest and most consequential in our nation's history. So every vote matters. Thank you for voting and praying for our country and its leaders from the lucky family of excellence. And God bless America.
Lacked Service Company of Hobbs is hiring CDL drivers with hazmat endorsements and at least 1 year of driving experience. Lacked offers company paid insurance, PTO, vacation, and safety days to qualified employees. Stop by 3521 Industrial Drive in Hobbs today to submit an application, or for more information, contact Michael at 575-370-4604. That's 575-370-4604. Lacked Service Company, serving the oil and gas industry since 1969.
Southeast New Mexico weather.
Hi, good morning. The forecast as we go down to 285 starting in Roswell with temperatures this afternoon at 92 degrees, and the wind is going to be breezy and in fact could have some patchy dust across the area today. Carlsbad, Artesia at 93 degrees. Yes, that hot this time of the year. Lovington at our radio studios in the upper 80s. Tomorrow in Lovington at the studios, 85 degrees, breezy to windy. We're W105 FM. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts.
Your country plays on W105.
Please, the sun is coming up.
Did I miss it?
Come on.
Turn it on now.
It's showtime, baby.
The new and improved Bee and the Breakfast Club, now including Monica and Blake.
Get connected. Stay connected.
Bee and the Breakfast Club broadcasting from the Inn of the Mountain God studio. Text line at 877-396-W105. Powered by Amigo Machinery, your Kubota dealer. Question of the day brought to you by Lovington Auto Supply, your Napa dealer.
The only problem with listening in the morning?
Honey, what's wrong with that man?
Laughing so hard everyone else on the road thinks you're crazy.
Today is a very special day.
Today is National First Responders Day.
First responder? The first to respond.
Honor the men and women who take immediate action when disaster strikes.
We honor you today.
This is mainly focused on our first responder.
From the first responders who answered the call.
If we haven't said it before, we just want to say thank you.
It's very important work.
We would like to say thank you.
It's showtime.
And welcome to Bee and the Breakfast Club this morning. Kevin is out right away.
I heard.
He went to the hospital earlier this morning. He had some blood pressure issues, and he had a big headache, and he just had a couple other issues. He may call in later. I don't know. We'll see. Prayers going out to Kevin this morning.
It's Monday.
It is Monday. And we are broadcasting from the Inn of the Mountain God studio. The text line, of course, is 877-396-9105. That's being brought to us by Amigo Machinery. And Lovington Auto Supply has our question of the day today. Let's do the question of what first responder would you like to honor today, since today is First Responders Day?
Oh, that's
every one of them.
Yes. And so you can text us 877-396-9105 with that. And I am Blake. This is Tom. This is Monica. And
Hola.
Kevin is
Coyote.
in spirit, not that far away in a hospital bed.
Norley's one of the best hospitals you could be going to, though.
It is. So maybe we'll hear from him soon. We got a lot of stuff to get to today. The good news is that he left me all his show prep.
I see it.
The bad news is I didn't organize it, so I have no idea what it is. But we need to check on the weather right first. Let's check on the weather being brought to us by Zia Guns this morning. 1907 North Main Street in Roswell. More than 1,000 firearms in stock, handguns and rifles. They will take the time to find you the right gun. Trade in or trade up, ladies. They encourage you to visit them. If you would stop in and see their expert staff at Zia Guns, they offer customer satisfaction. Closed on Saturday, always open on Sunday. Tom, do we have any text yet?
Not yet. We're still waiting on it this morning.
Yeah, there is one.
It just came in. You're reading one and I'm reading the other.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Can you tell these people on a highway to slow down before they kill somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell these people on Highway 2 to slow down before they kill somebody?
All right.
Slow down.
Slow down. I did the weather sponsor. I didn't do the weather. So let me do the weather. It's going to get up hot today. It's going to be in the mid to upper 80s. Tomorrow as well, going to be mid 80s. But then we're cooling off 70s on Wednesday, but then it says only 69 and 68 Thursday and Friday.
And you'll wonder why we got the sniffles. And
Yeah,
the
every one of us
sneezing
has
and
sniffles, and I didn't know if I was going to talk this morning, and it's going to be interesting. We also have a guest coming in at some point this morning. There were some travel snafus that is going to keep her from being here in the 8 o'clock hour. So it may be 8 if things got rectified. It may be 8:30. It may be 9. I don't know yet. That'll be Nella Domenici.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
going to stop in.
Good to see from her.
And so in worst case scenario, if she's not down from Albuquerque, she will call in. But anyway, so text line 877.
Speaking of Albuquerque, I was there over the weekend, and I've got lots to report in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
All right, let's go to the text line. Prayers going out to Kevin in full force. God bless to all of y'all in this morning, says the text.
Well, thank you.
And hey, B, I saw this on Facebook this morning. Pretty accurate. It says rubbing your eyes.
Yeah. Rubbing your eyes.
Rubbing your eyes.
After eating crawfish is the Louisiana equivalent of watching Dennis Allen coach another Saints game.
Ooh, that's okay.
Burn.
That's going to be more for Kevin. Yeah, speaking of sports real quick, we'll get to some of this other stuff in a minute, but yeah, how'd your Buffaloes look, Tom?
I didn't watch them. Did they lose or win?
I have no idea because I'm not a Colorado fan, so I didn't keep up. I know my Mizzou Tigers got blown out by Alabama.
I saw that score. I said, dang.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't a real surprise. You know, as you know, I've said all year that they're not playing that well.
Right.
So we'll go with that.
Texas won barely, though.
They did. And,
Those are my long
and
words.
Texas Tech got beat by TCU.
Ooh.
So anyway, Amazon Prime is adding another benefit for its members. Anybody a member of Amazon Prime? I am too. 10 cents off every gallon of gas at more than 7,000 U.S. gas stations.
Hey.
Now, this thing that I have right here does not list what gas stations they are, but I would keep an eye out for, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get 10 cents off a gallon.
That's good.
So I would start looking around at the different gas pumps and see. So that's kind of interesting.
I wonder how you'll have to put in your Prime membership, or
I don't know, right? Like,
you have a card or something?
No, it's just online.
Right.
It's Amazon. So
interesting.
It will be interesting. And I'm sure if you go to Amazon and look it up, it'll be one of the benefits, and it might tell you, or the gas station pump you're at might tell you or something.
Right.
And sales of Melania Trump's book, Melania, dropped from 85,000 to 35,000 in the second week. That's down 59%. And of course, all those on the left are saying, oh, look, see, da-da-da-da. But if you look at that, that's still more than 100,000 books.
Yeah.
So for most people out there, that's 100,000 more books than they have ever sold.
Well, she's been on the #1 best-selling list for weeks, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks. So, yeah. Anyway. So the morning show this morning being brought to us by Rig Outfitters and Home Store. Located in the Broadmoor Mall, extensive collection of FR jeans, coveralls, gloves, shirts, and coats. Other oil field gear like hard hats, work boots, steel-toed boots, and safety gear, furniture and appliances, electronics, and zero down financing. And stop in there. Joe has got a huge heart. He's always doing stuff for charity. They'll be doing Toys for Tots.
Yes.
They'll be helping out for the food drive. Just all that stuff. Stop in and see how you can help. He's always helping people out. And you can always bring stuff there. You can get a discount if you bring in 5 non-perishable food items, if I remember correctly. And
I'm just going to drop cans of food over there.
There you go. Just drop them off.
Hey, Tom, I think you need to turn the ringer off on your phone.
That's not my phone.
It's not my phone.
It's not my phone.
No.
Maybe it's the text line.
It's your text
The text line? No, it's your phone.
It's your phone.
No, ma'am.
Turn the ringer off.
But I'll turn it off.
Also, Scrub Outfitters, located next to Rig Outfitters in the Broadmoor Mall. Largest selection of medical scrubs for 100 miles. Your favorite scrub brands like Healing Hands, Medcouture, and Peaches. In addition to scrubs, they carry shoes, medical equipment, compression socks, stethoscopes, and more. And in case you can't tell, we are flying by the seat of our pants this morning. And Tom or Monica, whoever, what text do we have?
All right. So LSU got beat by Texas A&M, says this one text, not Alabama.
No, Mizzou.
Mizzou got beat by Alabama.
Yes.
And someone also said, Patrick said that's why Kevin is sick because LSU got beat.
Well,
Kevin, you got to come for Patrick.
He did have a headache yesterday after the game because he fell asleep watching the game and his head was cocked to the side.
Yeah.
And so he said he had a headache from it.
And what happened to Kevin, please? Well, he was sick this morning, went to the emergency hospital, is there getting treated for it. So
he
that's
is.
what
Yeah, he called and said that they had drawn blood. The EKG didn't show anything. And so they're just checking him out, and he knew that he would be there for a while and wasn't going to make it. He thought that he would go at 3 a.m. and still make it for the show.
That's him, though.
It is. Obviously, he did not quite make it for the show. Now,
Linda in Carlsbad said she'd like to honor all the EMTs that are on the front lines of medical help. And I agree with you, Linda. There's not one that's more or least important. They're all very, very important.
Amen to that. First responders, Lorena Tureen of 911 dispatcher for the Lincoln County Lincoln County Communications Authority, 17 years of service.
I don't know where you got Lincoln from. It's LCCA.
Lee
First
County,
responder,
I'm sorry.
Lorraine Tarin, 911 dispatcher.
Lee County.
For LCCA.
To be fair, I mean, our studios are located in Lee County, but they do get us in Lincoln County, where we have all of our stations in Ruidoso.
Yeah, Monica.
So
I'm sorry.
And Tom sometimes lives in the past.
Yes.
So he remembers living there.
I lived there for 5 years.
There you go.
If I had to put up with Tom as much as Kevin does, I'd be in the hospital a lot more often. You weren't going to read that one. I know you weren't. So I went ahead and pulled a fast one on you, Tom.
You did. Hey, let's go ahead and check in real quick. Tom, do you have the oil prices?
Yes, I do.
We'll do that right now. Oil prices this morning being brought to us by Spinnaker Cementing Solutions, a division of Cut Energy Services. Spinnaker is built to service the largest drilling programs all the way to the guy that drills one well a year. Spinnaker is dedicated to leading the way in cementing solutions while ensuring premium quality service delivered at the wellhead, always prioritizing safety and environmental responsibility. Spinnaker operates the most modern cementing fleet in the U.S., operating 25 cementing crews in New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma, where they employ 200 experienced cementing professionals, specializing in lightweight, high compressive strength slurries using foam and glass beads. Now, to find out more about Spinnaker, visit spinnakeroil.com or stop by and see us northwest of the airport at 324 North Magnum Industrial Road in Hobbs.
West Texas Intermediate, $67.57, $71.81 for Brent crude, and the price of natural gas is $2.40. Blake?
All right. So Chinese hackers have reportedly breached the cell phones of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Mm-hmm.
They targeted the phones of them, and this is according to the New York Times. And the Trump campaign was notified at some time earlier in the week. So they were two of several people inside and outside the government that were targeted by those Chinese hackers, trying to penetrate Verizon's phone systems.
That's what I got.
Okay. So they might have got you too, Tom. Now, according to the New York Times, they granted their sources anonymity because they wanted to discuss the issue. Investigators are probing the breach. They're in the process of figuring out what kind of data, if any, has been taken by the hackers.
Interesting.
Uh-oh.
Now, it says that even if the hackers were unable to determine the contents of messages or calls, simply knowing which people are in contact with high-profile politicians could be of more value to China because that information could allow them to select targets of influence. So that could be a bad thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chinese are always up to something.
Chinese always.
They really are.
They really
when you
are.
Think
right?
about it.
Yeah,
I mean, can you just be smart and change the world for good? Why do you have to be smart and try to?
You could.
You know.
You could
take over the world.
You could. Yeah, you could. So let's go ahead and get to the tweet of the day and get that out of the way. Today is going to be brought to you by Seminole Siding and Construction, a trusted name in Southeast New Mexico for exceptional construction and siding services. While they offer residential services, their specialty is the construction of commercial and industrial type metal buildings. From start to finish, Seminole Siding and Construction offers a comprehensive solution for all your construction needs. Don't settle for anything less than the best. Choose Seminole Siding and Construction for your next project and experience the difference quality makes. Contact them today to get started, 575-391-1430. Commercial metal buildings, industrial metal buildings, shingle and metal roofs, siding, soffit, and fascias, doors, windows, and seamless gutters. All of that, like everything for your home. That's Seminole Siding and Construction.com. Now, the tweet of the day is coming from Donald Trump's appearance on Joe Rogan this week. And I have a lot more sound bites from this appearance, but I got this one that's the tweet of the day, and it's a little long, so I wanted to go ahead and get it in here. And it's about the endorsement. Okay. Donald Trump asked Joe, why don't you go ahead and endorse me? So here we go.
Joe, Donald Trump is literally Adolf Hitler.
You really think that? I don't know. I had him on, and it didn't feel like I was talking to Hitler.
Joe, what more evidence do you need? He's having a rally at Madison Square Garden that is just like the Nazi rally that happened there in 1939.
How is it like a Nazi rally?
Donald Trump is going to be speaking in front of 20,000 people, Joe.
And what makes them Nazis?
Because they're going to see a Nazi speak.
So you think...
Now, let me jump in here. I read this wrong. This is an AI conversation between Joe Rogan and Kamala Harris. Now, it's designed to see what it would actually be like since
she wasn't there.
Trump was on.
Correct. Yeah.
And Kamala said she wanted to go, but she can't because of scheduling conflicts. So let me continue with this. This is an AI conversation. So there we go.
Think that because he's a Nazi, if people go see him, that's a Nazi rally?
I can't believe I'm sitting in the same chair Hitler sat in.
You're really going hard on this Hitler thing, huh?
Joe, he said there were very fine people on both sides at Charlottesville.
Yeah, but he specifically said that didn't apply to the Nazis.
I like my version better.
His grandkids are Orthodox Jews.
And once he's in power, he's going to round them up.
He's going to round up his own grandkids? And do what? Take them to Disney?
Probably some kind of work camp, maybe worse. Did I mention no tax on tips?
Yeah, you stole that from Trump.
Joe, he's a fascist. He's basically like one of those Russian nesting dolls where he's the big one, and then inside him is Mussolini, and inside that one is Hitler, and inside that one is Pol Pot, and inside that one is Putin, and inside that one is Kim Jong-il.
So is that your platform now? Basically just he's Hitler until Election Day?
That and joy.
Hitler and joy?
And no income tax. I just made that up right here.
Do you have any original ideas?
I thought the nesting doll thing was pretty good.
So there's the AI tweet of the day.
You know, it's sad to say that AI sounds just a little smarter than the real life version of Kamala.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, just a tad bit. Like it flows.
It does.
It flows. It's not throwing word salads out there. Pero, for the most part.
Oh, so yeah, I don't even know where to go with that. So I have this other cut here and I haven't listened to it, so I'm not sure, but it's Tim Walz. It says that it can't tell us the difference. I think it's between, I don't know. Let's just play it and listen.
How will the Harris administration differ from the Biden administration?
Yeah, I think they did a lot of great work together. I'm here with Joe Biden's hometown, and I'm going to talk about that. Coming out of COVID as a governor, I know what they've done. They've moved forward, but there's more work to be done.
Okay, so there's no difference between Biden and Kamala, right? Is there any difference? Has anyone seen any difference between the two? She keeps saying that there is no difference, right? I mean, that's what she says. Is there any text, Tom?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This text is saying, so Linda and Carlsbad, so China knows that Domino's is my number one call. Oh, my, do I feel so violated.
We've got Trump obsessed hater on a rampage this morning.
Well, congratulations.
Trump is the weakest sounding speaker at his Madison Square Garden hate rally. Zero energy. His slurring voice keeps trailing off.
Oh, so you were there?
And that was the whole point, sir.
So you were there?
RFK Jr. has said there are no vaccines that are safe and effective. Trump is going to let him go wild on the medicines. And Trump obsessed hater. Nothing new. Trump will lose again. I hate to tell you that it doesn't look that way, Guy. Good luck, though.
Yeah, good luck.
And Trashman and Hobbs has said, will the hackers sell Tommy's homemade videos and his photos of him playing dress up? I don't know.
Probably
Well,
not.
crazy.
Probably
man.
not.
Coulter says Kevin knew that as soon as it started. Coulter says, or knew that was as knew that. Well, I can't
Let me
read
help
that.
you.
I'm sorry.
Coulter said that he knew that was AI as soon as it started.
There you go.
Why
Thank you.
play it in the first place? Because it was hilarious.
Yeah, it's the tweet of the day. We try and do something a little funny with tweet of the day, and I just misread the title. So
Sure.
there you go.
Pine says, I have a daughter that is a flight nurse, rock star. Another that's a NICU respiratory therapist in Lubbock, also a rock star, who got her heart broken by LSU this weekend. She bought first row seats and went to the game.
Did
oh,
she really?
no.
Oh no. Well, at least you got to go to the game.
That's right. That's
a
more
good
than
news.
a lot of people can say. I mean, they went and, they got a loss. But, I mean, hey.
There
at
you
least
go.
Went.
And
So-
someone texted us from Artesia said the gas there is $2.61 at the Walmart.
That's a good price.
That is a good price.
Yes.
Especially in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Mandy said, but will this be the end of Kevin's energy drink habit? Get
I
well
doubt
soon
it.
be. Also, shout out to our Lovington first responders for always taking care of our guys at W105.
Thank you very much.
Amen. In the morning show this morning, being brought to you by State Representative for District 61, Randall Pettigrew, who reminds you that Governor Lujan Grisham continues to attack our way of life, our businesses, our freedom, our kids, and our values. All of that is in the crosshairs of her administration. Randy promises to be your conservative voice in Santa Fe. This isn't an empty promise. He stands proudly on his results, and right now he is trying to get people to the polls to vote, and he is really trying to educate people on the election. And if you need to get in touch with Randy, well, you can go to randallpettigrew.com, and that message is paid for by Randall Pettigrew.
Randall?
Randall.
Randy?
Well, he goes by Randy, but his website is Randall Pettigrew. And 2 have been hospitalized with gunshot wounds after a report of 6 to 30 shots fired in Clovis.
My goodness.
Yeah, 2 people have been hospitalized after Clovis police responded to a report of 6 to 30 gunshots fired in the 900 block of Plaza Drive on Sunday. When the officers arrived, they found multiple car crashes and a young man with a gunshot wound to the chest. They found multiple casings of various calibers at the scene, like it was a big shootout. The 17-year-old shooting victim was stabilized and transported to Lubbock Hospital. A second gunshot victim, a 24-year-old female, was transported to Plains Regional Medical Center by personal vehicle, and she had a gunshot wound to the face.
Oh, my.
Now, she's said to be in stable condition, and the male is in critical condition, but stable. So no arrests have been made at this time, and Clovis Police is asking for anyone's help who may know anything. You can get a hold of them, or you can get a hold of Crime Stoppers and go from there.
Yeah, that little town's gotten violent the last few months.
Yeah, who do they think they are, Hobbs?
Hey.
And a man punched an election worker who told him to remove a hat at the voting site. This happened in Texas.
Ouch. How far?
Yeah, he wore a hat supporting Donald Trump.
Okay.
And he punched an election worker who told him that wearing and items endorsing a candidate are prohibited at voting sites, which they are. There's a sign outside that says no electioneering, none of that kind of stuff. You can't wear a candidate T-shirt or hat or anything like that. Anyway, the election worker, identified as a 69-year-old man, was treated at the scene Thursday and returned to his post at the San Antonio Library on Friday. The suspect was arrested on felony charges of assaulting an elderly person, and he could face additional charges, Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar said. The alleged assault happened at the end of the first week of early voting in Texas. Remember, they just started early voting last week. Now, it says, thankfully, there was nothing life-threatening about what occurred, but it was still ugly, the sheriff said. And it happened just as lines were really reaching long outside the polls for people wanting to vote early. The suspect's name is Jesse Lutzenberger, and he remained in jail Friday night.
Listen, Jesse, you got to do like
You can't go punching people.
you can't go punching people, but if you're going to support the person that you're voting for, you got to wear the socks.
Right.
Patrick and I went and voted on Friday on my birthday, and he wore some Trump socks. It was cute. I was like, you go. You're going to get your little, I guess you could say your support in one way or another, right? You're gonna do
Well, you had supportive socks, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, while we're talking about Trump, I just want to talk about something. Well, first of all, congratulations to Lovington High School's Big Blue Band. They took second place.
Oh, nice.
At the first ever band state competition. I mean, they do different competitions or whatever, but this was the first sanctioned one, I guess you could say. And it was in Rio Rancho. And so yeah, they took home second place in 4A, and it was awesome. It was really, really neat to see.
4A or 5A? Because they're a 5A band.
4A. Band is 4A.
Oh, band's 4A. Okay.
Yeah. So
Not to be confusing or anything.
Right. And so, you know, we drove in to Rio Rancho pretty early. It was about 10:30, in between maybe 11. There was a whole Trump parade happening in Rio Rancho, and it was lovely to have driven in and seen that. I mean, they had their flags out, they were rallying, it was so neat. And we just kind of got in and we're honking and saying woo woo and doing the most, even though we weren't invited.
Right.
We weren't invited, but nonetheless they had their own thing going on, and it was so refreshing to see. And then we stopped, this guy was set up selling. Who took first place, Monica? In 4A, it was Goddard. All right. I know you're Anthony from Roswell, and you're probably asking just so I can give Goddard their shout out.
There you go, Goddard. Right?
There you go.
And Lovington Volleyball, I think, is playing them.
Are they?
And hoping for a victory, hoping for their first district win, and that will set them up, if they do, to head to the playoffs.
Anyhow, yeah, so we were talking to this guy that owns the little rug stand, and he was telling us, he was confirming that there's a flip coming. I mean, not that it's coming, but that he said that he felt confident that people are flipping from Democrat to Republican in their vote. And I thought that was so good, because Albuquerque's super blue. Everybody knows that.
Well, but I mean, the Democrats have now proven that they're the party of the elite and the rich.
Right.
Like the super rich.
You
know, the Republicans are now the party of the working people.
Right. And that's what I was telling Patrick this morning. The popular vote isn't popular for what it's popular anymore. The popular vote just wants to be able to afford groceries. We want to be able to spend our spending money on fundings and not having to fill up our vehicles with gas with our spending money.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying, to me, that's the shift right now.
Right.
It's very basic right now. Very basic as to why somebody would vote different than what they've been raised to vote or what they've always voted.
Right. And check out the issues. And speaking of gas, if you're running low on fuel on 128 between Jal and Carlsbad, check out the new Twin Wells fuel station, 2.75 miles south of 128 on Buck Jackson Road. Twin Wells fuel station is open to the public. It's a large, nicely built station with plenty of cover. So they sell unleaded, green diesel, red diesel, and DEF. Twin Wells Fuel Station accepts all major credit cards, debit cards, fleet cards. Don't sweat making it to the next town. Fill up just south of 128 on Buck Jackson Road, and be safe on the road from Twin Wells Fuel Station. Tom in the text.
Go ahead, Monica.
Okay. Everyone needs to listen to Trump on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, we're getting to that.
Germ says, dang, Tom, are you all right? You're having a really hard time reading the text messages more than usual. I'm going to give him a couple minutes to gather himself so that way he can respond. Trump obsessed hater says, I hope Kevin will be well enough to see Trump lose. Oh, he will. Oh, he will. Kathy from The Patch would like us to read this text to her niece. So let me go back and read that. She wants to say a thank you to her niece, Carrie Houston, who is a 911 dispatcher and was recently named Dispatcher of the Year. She's been doing that job for a very long time, and she's really good at it. I know that it's a hard job, so I love you, Carrie. That is from your auntie, Kathy from The Patch. Kathy, thank you for recognizing
Okay, Anthony from Roswell says Goddard 06, go baby, says Anthony from Roswell. And everyone does need to listen to Trump on the Joe Rogan podcast.
They do. And we're, like I said, we're getting to that. So
I was talking to B when he was feeling better. He said on the way home Saturday, he listened to
the whole thing.
3 hours of the podcast.
He did. Before we get to that, let me go ahead and do the thought of the day. The thought of the day is being brought to you by Wakefield Oil. More than 35 years of serving Southeast New Mexico with quality products and excellent service. Dependable. They don't come in when the boom is here. They are always here. Serving all of Southeast New Mexico and parts of West Texas. Delivery of gas and diesel, both on-road and off-road, along with oil, DEF, fluid and value and service that can't be beat. Follow them on Facebook at wakefieldOil.com or call them 575-622-4160. Thought of the day is the surest sign that intelligent life exists elsewhere in the universe is that they've never tried to contact us. That is the thought of the day. Now, we were talking about Joe Rogan and we were talking about Donald Trump. And that episode netted 28 million views.
Wow.
On YouTube. And that's just here. That's not counting worldwide yet. His interview on Friday, and you got to remember, today is Monday. So that counted all the way. It looks like those figures are through Sunday. So the website JRE Library found that the top 10 most watched episodes between 27 million and 69 million were with Elon Musk being the most, and then Trump is next.
Wow.
So I'm sure he will catch it.
Now, what was the demographic that they wanted to hit?
Well, it's funny because a poll found that 81% of Joe Rogan listeners are male and 56% are under 35 years old. So that demographic tends to support Trump over Harris in most swing states. And if you remember last week, Harris said, oh, yeah, I'm going to be on there. But then her campaign came out and said she's not going to appear because they have a scheduling conflict. Now, if you could reach 50 plus million people, wouldn't you fix your scheduling conflict?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You would think.
I'd almost leave it open for random things like that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
But I have a couple of cuts from Joe Rogan. I'm just going to kind of go through them. Let me see where I want to start here. He loaded me up. So
okay, while you're doing that, I am
ready.
Oh, you're ready? Okay,
I
go
am
ahead.
ready. All right. So let's do this one first. This is Rogan, Trump talking about voter ID.
Okay. When you go to a grocery store, you give ID. But for a vote, it's supposed to be a sacred thing, and it should be a sacred thing. No voter ID because they want to cheat.
Well, it doesn't make sense in any other way. I've tried to look at
There's
it.
no other way.
There's no argument that anybody's presented that makes any sense why.
You know the funny thing, Joe? The Democrats, the people, they all think you should have it. In other words, you should have voting.
Yeah.
If you go to the people, Mrs. Schwartz, Mrs. Smith, Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
Sure.
They say, of course, yeah. Democrats, they say yes. It's the politicians that don't want it, like Schumer and these guys, they don't want it because they want to be able to cheat. Because you know what? If they didn't have it, okay, who is going to vote for somebody that wants open borders? Who's going to vote for somebody that wants to have men playing in women's sports?
So that's them talking about the ID. Let's go here. The next one is going to be talking about ending the war in Ukraine.
You would get both of them. I know both very well. And again, I do not want to tell you, for the purpose of looking smart to 5 people that, that say, oh, he was great. Because if I told you exactly what I do, I could never make the deal. All I can tell you is that I would meet with Putin and I would meet with him, and I know exactly what I'd say to each one of them. And I believe that as president-elect, I would get that war stopped and stopped fast. We have tremendous power in the United States if you know how to use the power.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped other wars just by the use of tariffs.
So there you go. That's an easy way that he can do it. Now, I don't blame him for saying, look, I'm not going to tell you exactly what I would do.
Right.
Because
The old saying, loose lips sink
Yeah,
ships.
because I mean, you give that information, the other guys are listening, and they're
Right.
going to be prepared for whatever it is.
Now, you had a text earlier about RFK and vaccinations and things like that, and Trump did address that. So here he is talking about that.
Do
Today
you
I
have
left.
anyone that is pressuring you to not work with him? Have there been people
not
that are
work with
reaching
who? To not work-
RFK Jr.? Has
Yes.
Yes, I would imagine. Because
I would
financially,
say
he could put a dent.
I would say that, and I think in many ways they've done a good job. In many ways they've done a bad job. But I would say that the big pharma wasn't thrilled when they heard that I have a relation. I've actually always gotten along very well with him.
So there you go. Big Pharma does not want RFK because RFK is against some of these, I'm going to call them sham vaccines. They're not really vaccines. They're, real vaccines. We know what those are. Those they use, but though, like for COVID and stuff, that's an mRNA gene therapy. That's not a vaccine. Now, Webster's has since changed the definition of vaccine to include that, but hasn't traditionally been a vaccine. I got one more. Rogan talking to Trump about mistakes, and here you go.
I will say that it always comes back to the same answer. The biggest mistake I made was I picked some people. I picked some great people, but you don't think about that. I picked some people that I shouldn't have picked. I picked a few people that I shouldn't have picked. And
neocons?
Yeah, neocons, or bad people, or disloyal people, or
people that were just
people
bad,
that were into the
you
people
got bad
that
advice.
So bad advice is bad advice no matter who you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's some takeouts from Trump on Joe Rogan. I do have, let's see, I'm looking for one more. I got it here somewhere. Here we go. This says it's I got two more actually. Rogan and Trump talk about the Fed, cities, and immigrants. So here you go.
But I want to ask you this. Why do you think they're doing that?
I think because
Do you think they're trying to votes? Do you think they just want cheap labor? Like, what's the idea?
There's a couple of theories. They hate our country, they're stupid, or they want to buy votes. It's one of those three things.
Yeah.
They want it now. They are trying to get people registered.
They're trying to give people amnesty, people that live here. They're trying to give them
amnesty.
path
They
to
want to give them citizenship, and they want to. Well, how
And
about what
if you
happened?
think about the amount of money that they've given them when they've come here, the food stamps, the benefits that even our poor people aren't getting.
$200 billion, and that's a way low number. That's a way low. It's interesting. New York has always been like, sort of like always looking for money. They've spent $100 billion on this stuff. I don't know where and they're not getting the money from the federal government. It's crazy.
All right. So that one was taken from it's that same podcast, but it was taken from a different source.
Yeah.
So I do have one more here, and this is talking about ISIS, the terrorist group. So here you go.
A meeting. So we go into the room, and they have these guys. I say, how long can you do it? How long? We can do it in a couple of weeks, sir. I said, wait a minute. They told me 5 years. We can do it in, I don't know, he gave me a number like in no time. I said, why haven't you done it? Because the orders came in from Washington, sir, and they would come here and tell us what to do. Don't you challenge us? We're not allowed to do that, sir. That's not the military way. They tell us what to do, and we have to respect them.
Do you think that it was incompetence why they didn't go after ISIS?
I think it's a bad system. When Mattis goes there or when Milley goes there, who's stupid, and they tell these guys that are actually smart what to do, and the guys that are smart are saying, we don't like what they're doing, but they're not allowed to sort of counteract. Plus, the guys that went there are arrogant. They're arrogant fools. They're like stupid fools. The way they pulled out of, the way they, as an example, the way they pulled out of Afghanistan with the people falling off the planes.
So, yeah, hinting at how bad they are. This administration is who he's talking about. Kamala Harris.
Right.
Joe Biden. At how bad they are in actually doing anything around the world. Morning show being brought to you by All American Cleaners. They're family and they treat their customers like family. Wash and fold 17 pounds for just $16.99. Tom, there's an answer to your laundry service. They're in Roswell, Artesia, Carlsbad, Lovington, Hobbs, Eunice, and Andrews, Texas. And you can ask about their text alerts. All American Cleaners. Get your laundry done today. Tom in the text.
All right, Justin from Roswell's chiming in. Hey, prayers to be, okay? All right, prayers going out to be this morning.
Amen.
And another texter said, here's something interesting. Now, my girlfriend, she got a text the other day, says the text, from a random number, and it said that Donald Jr. rather, and please don't vote for my dad, and to click on line to see why.
That sounds like one of the hacked things.
Yeah.
And we get texts from, hey, this is Donald Trump. Hey, this is JD Vance. We get those all the time. But at this point, I'm not even reading them.
Yeah.
I just,
It's like, I've already voted.
Yeah. Well, not so much that, but, sometimes they want campaign contributions. Sometimes they want other things. But it might even be one of those hacked things. I don't know. I don't answer those things on my phone anyway.
Right.
I do take some security precautions on my phone, and when I get things from random numbers like that, I just delete them. I don't really go after them. Monica?
I mean, it is what it is. Blake, what is the tally on Lee County, Eddy County, and Chavez County for voters? Do you have it?
I do. And funny thing is we were about getting ready to get to that. I do have another soundbite here that goes with this, and this is national polling in MSNBC. And they are losing their minds because Donald Trump is now pulling ahead in their poll as well. Let me do this clip real quick, and then I will get to New Mexico numbers. Sure. So here we go.
We have noticed in the last couple of days, this is not all of the polls that are out there now, but we have seen a number, 4 in the last 4 days, that have shown very small, but in the context of this close race, potentially meaningful movement in Trump's direction. I don't want to overstate it, but at the same time, it's hard to ignore these 4. The CNBC poll came out the other day, has Trump ahead by 2. The Wall Street Journal poll, Trump ahead by 3. These are national numbers. Siena and the New York Times, a tied race. CNN, a tied race. The significance here is broader movement. Again, we're seeing in Trump's direction.
All right. So that's their polling numbers. Now, let's get to the New Mexico numbers. Overall, about 324,000 people have voted in New Mexico so far this year.
Wow.
And that's a lot if you think about it. And let's break it down by county. And we're going to go from in the 3-county area that we cover all the time, Lee, Eddy, and Chavez County. We're going to start with the lowest number so far, which is still Lee County. They've had a total of 4,884 people vote. This is as of Saturday, I think,
right,
when I got the email. 3,573 Republicans, 827 Democrats, and 444 declined to state. In Chavez County, they've had 7,436 people vote. That's 4,803 Republicans, 1,855 Democrats, and 699 declined to state.
Go Chavez County.
And Eddy County leading the way in the southeast with 7,694 people who have voted so far. 5,221 Republicans, 1,836 Democrats, and 583 declined to state. Now, it's going to be interesting, and when we're looking at the state numbers, like I said, it was 324,000 people. Out of that, we are a blue state, but New Mexico is in play right now because Donald Trump has announced he is coming to Albuquerque.
Heard that, yeah.
On Thursday, which, of course, is Halloween. So Donald Trump is going to be in Albuquerque. Now, listen to the voter turnout so far. Out of those 324,000, 162,304 Democrat. Okay. For Republican, 115,212. Okay. Decline to state, which we're hoping breaks the Republican way.
Sure.
43,780. And if you added most of the decline to state to the Republican total, you are neck and neck on the election for those two. Now, people say, well, what about libertarians and what about other? Well, so far across the state, 2,005 libertarians have voted this year.
Wow. So interesting.
I'm thrilled that he'll be here.
Oh,
in New Mexico.
I can see why he's going to Albuquerque. I thought all the time he should be in Southeast New Mexico, but that's preaching to the choir.
It is.
Correct.
So if he goes to Albuquerque, there's votes that could be had there in Albuquerque.
There are a lot in the South Valley, which is where they've redistricted and tried to help American-hating Gabe Vasquez.
Sure.
And if you've seen any of the commercials lately and you've heard the news stories, he got fired for fraud or something like that. And, he uses racial slurs towards each other people, the N-word in particular, which he is not of that ethnicity. So it's not ever acceptable. And, but they tried to hurt Yvette Harrell by that redistrict. So if he goes to the South Valley, that could really backfire on Democrats if the South Valley, which is predominantly Hispanic, swings towards Donald Trump. Now, is it possible that we could flip the state red?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
There's a couple of races that are really in play. The Yvette Harrell, Gabe Vasquez race, Nella Domenici, and Martin Heinrich. That Senate race is in play. The other two congressional districts, maybe. I mean, maybe it just depends on turnout.
Gotta be your turnout.
It just totally
I think
depends.
anybody who is like undecided at this point in Albuquerque or even northern New Mexico will be impacted, hopefully.
Well, it's interesting that you said, Monica, that Rio Rancho had that Trump parade. So that's sending a big message that.
Well, and you kind of get the impression that Rio Rancho is it's although it's right in Albuquerque. I mean, Rio Rancho to me is a little red spot.
Right.
A little red spot,
Well, kind of.
Yeah, and
But again, it all depends on turnout.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
I mean, so go and vote. I would like to say I don't care what party you are, because I really don't. I really just want you to go vote, because if our voices aren't heard, whoever's voice, whether you're Republican or Democrat or Libertarian, go vote. Because if you don't, you're letting somebody else's voice stand for you.
Right.
I agree. And while I agree with the whole go vote sort of type thing, yes, use your voice, use your right, whatever, take advantage of it. I'm going to say, I'm going to be bold and say, why would you vote for what you've already had? Like, don't you want something new? Like, vote different. Like, golly. It's so crazy, the conversations that Patrick and I have in the morning. I'm like, just plain and simple. Like, how much more can you take of it? Honestly, like, yes, we're surviving. Yes, there are some of us who are doing just fine. But like, I can't stress it enough. Like,
well,
just be
everyone has felt the pinch at the pump, at the grocery store, just trying to live your life. Living your life today cost you 25 to 30% more than it did just a couple years ago when Donald Trump was in
Are you
office.
better off than
And it's
now
sad
than you were 4 years ago? That's the question.
I heard
And
one
no
of the-
one is.
Right, and I heard
Except
one
for
of
the really rich
correspondents on
people.
Fox and Friends. They were talking about how, in the grand scheme of things, the rich people, it doesn't matter who takes office. Honestly, they're not affected by it. Like, they're the long run. They're going to be just fine.
Well, the globalists have their own timeline.
It's the single moms. It's the elderly that are on fixed incomes. It's those of us who are raising 6 kids or 5 kids or whatever, and feel every single penny like that's gone that doesn't have to be gone.
Affordability.
And whether you're Democrat or Republican, whatever you've grown up being, like, come on, do yourself and all the other parents a favor.
Absolutely.
Por favor.
Tom, we got some text.
Yes, this lady from Carlsbad said, my wife and I early voted on Saturday in Carlsbad. Boy, the voting center was packed. Way to go, Carlsbad.
Amen.
This lady, I think that was a gentleman. He said, my wife and I. Hopefully, he's a gentleman.
Well, somebody there in Carlsbad.
A texter.
So thank you. A texter on the text line.
Yeah. And I will not vote early because all I see is the advantage for the Dems to say, okay, we need X amount of voters to beat the reps. I will vote in person with hopes that it will count.
I get it.
Says the text.
But how did that work last time? That was when they said, oh, we got to have these 5,000 ballots that we find somewhere.
Right.
Oh, look, they're all for Joe Biden, after Election Day.
Stuff in the closet.
Yeah, they were doing that. So if you make it too big to do that, I don't know. But I get voting on voting day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a thing. So, Monica.
Someone says, I have a question. If you don't fully fill out the ballot, does your vote still count?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you do not have to vote in every race. You can skip races as a protest.
Sure.
Which I did. There were some races that were uncontested that I did not vote for that person. Right?
Well, when I went to vote, I'll tell you this, because she's not in my district, I couldn't vote for Yvette. And
Right, you're in 3.
So I asked the election girl there, can I write her in anyway?
No.
That's exactly what she told me. I was disappointed.
No, because that's not your district.
Right.
You have to vote in your district, Tom.
Yeah,
So the Democrats are the ones that kept you from voting for her because they stopped it in Hobbs.
Right.
And so they were trying to do the south side of Hobbs into that district, but not the north side, so that it's fewer registered Republicans, more registered Democrats. And then they moved into the South Valley for that to get more registered Democrats as well, trying to redistrict it so it's hard for a Republican to win. If you remember, Brian Egoff said that.
Yes, he did.
He said that he was going to district it so no Republican could win.
Exactly what he said.
And so basically he's a cheat, but we'll leave it at that. Yeah, morning show being brought to you by Hobbs Airfield Speedway. Limpy is back. Friday the 1st, that's coming up. Gates open at 6, race at 7, goes till midnight. Yeah, they're going to be some good ones. $15 for spectator, $30 for a tech card. On Saturday, the gates open at 11, drivers meeting at 2, a $25 gate fee. Now, all buy-ins done at the tower, the flashlight race from the starting line, water burnout only, chip draw, 1/8 of a mile race. It's going to be cash days, no prep, flashlight. I love these flyers because there's just so much information on them.
Yeah.
They have a sponsor for the hotel. You can call them. And you can give Jamal a call. And let me find his number. I got it somewhere. I normally have it somewhere. I say it that way. As I am flipping through everything. I do not have Jamal's number.
I got it.
What is Jamal's number there, Tom?
Let me get it in a second.
Anyway, it is at Hobbs Airfield Speedway while you're looking for it. They are out at the old airfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
So go and check that out. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on all the things. Tom, did you find the number?
Jamal, 575-631-5099.
So there you go. And Limpy is back. Don't forget about that. Now, we were talking about Kamala Harris. We still got to get to a break real quick. So Kamala Harris, I'm going to hold till after the break because I want to get to taking out the trash this morning and get all this in here. And I kind of want to stay on time if I can because Nella Domenici is supposed to be with us today.
Oh, is she? Okay.
I just don't know when. It's going to be 8, 8:30, 9. It's in there. It's in flux.
It's going to be live in the studio.
She is coming down from Albuquerque, so she's trying to make it here so she can be in the studio. It's possible it'll be on the phone, but we'll find out.
Good.
Taking out the trash this morning being brought to you by Trash Eaters. They offer all your waste hauling needs. From residential trash pickup to commercial waste hauling, they offer the 96-gallon polycarts, 2 and 4 yard metal dumpsters, and roll-off containers that Tom loves to get close to so much. For all your commercial and residential and waste hauling needs, call Kayleen 575-408-1719 today. Trash Eaters is a local veteran-owned company. Again, 575-890-4549, trash-eaters.com. Vice President Harris claimed that President Trump would use the military against Americans.
Please.
But 2 weeks ago, the Harris-Biden administration issued a directive allowing the U.S. military to use lethal force against citizens on American soil, potentially authorizing lethal force against political protesters who oppose White House policies. Now, if you want to talk about Nazi and you want to talk about going against the American people, 2 weeks ago, Vice President Kamala Harris and President Joe Biden authorized, for the very first time in American history, lethal force against Americans on American soil. Now, do you think these 20 million illegal foreigners, mostly fighting age men that came across the border, they might conscript to that? It's possible.
Very possible.
Our text line is open, 877-396-9105. I got to take a break, but are there any texts before we do?
Yes. The problem is trying to determine which district Tom resides in. Living in the RV and all, says one texter.
No. He's living in the RV. He lives in a trailer park.
Yeah. Well, it's RV park.
I'd like you guys to look into the illegals getting signed up for voting when they go in for an identification card here in Lovington.
Yeah, Chip was asking that this morning. Don't know yet. But
a lot more people would vote if they felt that their vote actually counted, but they use this stupid electoral college system instead of the popular vote.
Okay, we've covered that before, and I'm not going to get totally into it, but the reason the electoral college system exists is so that major metropolitan population centers don't override everyone else. Now, if you're okay with New York and California and Texas and Florida calling the shots for the entire country and no one else getting a voice, that's what you would get if you did away with the electoral system. That's the reason the founding fathers set it up that way.
And us people here in the rural areas would not have our voice heard.
You would have no representation.
Yep.
So there you go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you want to read some, Tom?
Oh, I'll put down my phone. Go ahead.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I got to take a break, so let's go ahead and do that first, and we'll do some more text when we come back. We're flying by the seat of our pants here, just as I get to it. Yeah, morning show being brought to you by Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply, 1105 East 2nd Street in Roswell. Homegrown and proud of it. From farm and ranch supplies to Western wear and work, where to feed all your animals, they have it all. Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply is your certified Purina dealer, 1105 East 2nd, and online at roswelllivestock.com. We're taking a break. I still got a lot of stuff to get to. We're going to talk about Kamala Harris. We're going to read a lot of those texts when we come back. Guys, don't let me forget that. And we're going to do all that. But first, we're going to take a break, and Tom is going to take your qualifying.
Register for cash.
There you go. Going to be given away again on Friday. Who was the winner this last week?
Samantha Mars, our latest winner of the W105 Cash Blowout.
Congratulations, Samantha. And this week could be your week if you call in to register right now.
Nomad and Hobbs and Tatum presents the W105 Cash Blowout.
Call now.
Call 877-396-W105 now. Be one of the first 5 people to call in for your chance to win $105. The W105 Cash Blowout.
I want my money.
I want it now.
Call in now to win.
MTD Radio News brought to you by Stone Oilfield Services in Lovington. Get the job done right every time since 2004.
Proudly serving most phases of the oil field process, Stone Oilfield Services has a fleet of over 60 trucks and a workforce of over 100 employees. From water transport to kill and vac truck operations, flowback services and pit filling to the clean out of rigs and tanks, as well as oiling and acidizing, Stone Oilfield believes in getting the job done right every time. Their central motto, do what you say you can do. Call them today at 575-396-1840. That's 396-1840.
MTD Radio News, I'm Blake Ovard. About 490 shipments of nuclear waste have been sent to the Waste Isolation Pilot Plant Repository between Carlsbad and Hobbs so far this year, officials said, but the Department of Energy plans to decrease shipments in the next year as it begins processing more difficult waste streams. The DOE and Salado Isolation Mining Contractors, the primary operations contractor at WIP, gave an update on shipments and operations at the facility during a public meeting at New Mexico Highlands University in Las Vegas last week. The public forum was held to solicit feedback on WIP's ongoing operation and construction projects intended to keep the site operational for at least 10 more years per Energy Department's latest permit with the state of New Mexico. The permit was approved last year. And Alberto Verduga, 22 of Hobbs, surrendered to law enforcement Friday after a warrant was issued charging him with murder, a first-degree felony, 3 counts of tampering with evidence, shooting at a dwelling or occupied building, and shooting at or from a motor vehicle, all second-degree felonies, and assault with intent to commit a violent felony, a third-degree felony. Verdugo is being held without bail pending a first appearance in court. The charges stem from an October 19th incident where Lee County Sheriff's Office deputy reportedly saw a vehicle swerving into oncoming traffic near the intersection of US 62-180 and Navajo Drive in Hobbs. The deputy reported finding the driver, identified as Jabrian Lowe, 17 of Hobbs, suffering from a gunshot wound. Lowe was taken to Covenant Health Hobbs Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. And in a ruling last week, State District Court Judge Mary Marlowe Sommer stood by her July decision to dismiss an involuntary manslaughter charge against Alec Baldwin in the fatal shooting of cinematographer Elena Hutchins on the set of the Western movie Rust. She said prosecutors did not raise any factual or legal arguments that would justify reversing her decision. And that's the way it is. I'm Blake Ovard. This is MTD Radio News.
PMC Outlet, also known as The Shack, is located at 3106 East Green Street on the Hobbs Highway in Carlsbad and is well worth a drive. PMC's The Shack is a local family-owned indoor grow facility. They have low outlet pricing every day with farm-to-table delivery. They also have plenty of truck and trailer parking. You can find them online at pmccultivators.com or give them a call today, 575-988-8704. The Shack is open Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and on Fridays, 8 to 6. Must be 21 years of age or older or 18 with a medical card.
Lee County, it's time to invest in the future of higher education. New Mexico Junior College proudly supports the 2024 New Mexico GEO Bond, and we urge you to vote yes this November. Bond 3 will help renovate campus by enhancing classrooms, offices, restrooms, and more. This bond will boost student success and strengthen our community. Let's make a difference for tomorrow. Vote yes on the New Mexico GEO Bond this November.
Lacked Service Company of Hobbs is hiring CDL drivers with hazmat endorsements and at least 1 year of driving experience. Lacked offers company paid insurance, PTO, vacation, and safety days to qualified employees. Stop by 3521 Industrial Drive in Hobbs today to submit an application, or for more information, contact Michael at 575-370-4604. That's 575-370-4604. Lacked Service Company, serving the oil and gas industry since 1969.
Hello, this is David Shaw, CEO and Administrator for Norley Hospital District. It is election season, and I would like to take a moment and encourage you to vote to continue the Norley Hospital District mill levy. Thanks to your continued support, we have been able to provide services like cancer care, affordable transportation, and pediatric behavioral health services right here in your hospital district. Help us to continue to enrich your community by voting to continue the Norley Hospital District mill levy, paid for by Friends of Norley.
Early and absentee voting has begun. You can now cast your vote for election 2024 in Lee County. Early voting locations include in Hobbs at the Lee County Annex Building at 1019 East Bender and at the Lee County Event Center, 5101 North Lovington Highway, Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6, starting October 19th in Lovington, in the Courthouse Basement Conference Room, 100 North Main, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, starting Tuesday, October 8th. And the last day for early voting at any location is Saturday, November 2nd from 10 to 6. Don't let your greatest civic duty pass by. Get out, go vote, and vote early. For early voting details, visit leecounty.net and click election information.
W105, be in the Breakfast Club. Tom A. has lost his mind, so you don't have to.
You seem particularly triggered right now.
Call now. 877-396-W105.
He's a friend of mine. Friend with a big mouth.
Let's go, Z! All right, it is 7:09 on B and the Breakfast Club. Now, we're talking about Kamala Harris, and we've talked a lot about Donald Trump and Kamala Harris this morning, but she's mad because Beyonce didn't sing.
Oh.
Yeah, and she didn't sing, right? So she only spoke to supporters at Kamala's rally. And so that was a lot of disappointed fans who showed up. And so when Beyonce left the stage, apparently a lot of fans exited the building.
Wow.
Exit left. Stage left.
Imagine seen that. The left, stage left.
Yeah. So do you think that they were there for Beyonce or for Kamala?
Beyonce.
Beyonce, exactly.
Right. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott challenged Kamala Harris to declare Tren de Aragua,
Yeah, you said it right.
the terrorist organization, for those that don't know what that is. He wants her to declare them a terrorist organization because that takes a lot of the chains off of dealing with them, right? And they can deal with them in a whole different way. And it's a violent prison gang, and it is organized crime, and they do terrorist acts. And because they're from another country, it's a foreign terrorist organization who is taking over real estate in the United States.
Absolutely.
And of course,
literally taking over.
Yes, like apartment complexes and areas of
like
cities.
What you think would never be possible in America.
Right. Well, and Greg Abbott also pointed to the murder of Jocelyn Nongare, the 12-year-old who was killed by those illegal foreigners. And so he said that Americans deserve better than this. So Kamala, when are you going to do something about this?
Serious.
Not.
And so that brings up a good thing. When she had a town hall over on CNN, she wanted to talk about a little joy, right? So this is just her real quick.
Let's not be afraid of having a little joy to the point of, what makes you feel good about your work.
Typical word salad from her shortly. Yeah. That's so Kamala doing that. Yeah. That's, I don't even know what to say.
I just want to
about
get a shirt that says listen.
Right.
And then her face, like, just listen.
And, it's kind of funny, the difference between her town hall meeting and the Trump rally at Madison Square Garden. Right. And of course, Eric Adams, he went against Kamala Harris on this, and he said he doesn't think that Trump is a fascist. And so you wonder if he's trying to squirm to not sound so bad. Anyway, this is what he said.
What Hitler has done, and I know what a fascist regime looks like. I think, as I've called over and over again, that the level of conversation, I think we could all dial down the temperature. And I've heard people say that the former president should not be able to have a rally in Madison Square Garden. I strongly disagree. This is America.
So it's America. He's right. I think that he's trying to squirm so that he doesn't come off quite as bad when everything comes out. What do you think, Tom?
Yes, I believe. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Short and sweet.
Fair enough. All right. So I want to go before I have a whole bunch of other stuff here. We're going to get to it real soon.
Before you go, do you want to go to the text?
Yeah. Go ahead. Give me some text.
Someone said, morning. It's my first day being back at work after a whole week cleaning out mud and throwing stuff away. I wanted to give a shout out to all the volunteers that helped during the massive cleanup in Roswell. And I as well want to jump on that wagon because as we were driving to Albuquerque, of course, we went through Roswell. And, I'm expecting devastation. I'm expecting the worst, right? And surprisingly, I mean, you can tell where there was damage. You can tell the businesses and, of course, the places that have been affected. But, man, if there was ever a little town that could or a little train that could town, it was definitely Roswell. You would have thought that they would, have snapped their fingers and it was cleaned up. They have taken care of business. You talk about cleaning up.
Right on.
It looked, you could tell, like I said, that there had been, devastation.
Sure.
But I'll be dang if they let their city stay like that.
Wow.
So huge shout out to the people of Roswell, that community, those cleanup crews. You guys have done amazing. Good job.
Well, and speaking of cleaning, just down the road from there is Janco Janitorial.
Mhm.
They're located at 324 West Main Street, Suite 102 in Artesia. They are your full-service commercial janitorial company and specialize in window cleaning, office cleaning, floor stripping and waxing, janitorial supply deliveries. They also do commercial, industrial, and oil field cleaning. All of their employees are bloodborne pathogen certified. They're HAZCOM certified and PPE certified. They service all of southeastern New Mexico and West Texas. Give Amber a call today, 575-703-1869, or you can find them online at Janco Janitorial. Tom?
All right, this texter is asking, morning, guys, did you got any information about that teenager with a gun at the Eunice football field Saturday at the youth football games? Didn't know, but I will text my source here in a moment. Maybe we'll get more information on that.
I am looking through the stack to see if Kevin left any of that, because Kevin did leave me all of his show prep this morning. And let me tell you, this man is prepared out the wazoo, right? Like, he has so much stuff prepped. I don't see it yet in my stack. We probably will have something like that.
Is 285 between Artesia and Roswell open? No, it's not. You're going to have to go to State Road 2 to get in around that area right
The engineers are still looking at the northbound bridge to see if they can open it to both ways of traffic, but they haven't yet.
Yeah.
John in Pio says, good morning, lady and gents. Tom, you seem to be a little slack with Kevin gone. Are you missing your buddy?
I miss everybody, man, when I'm
But I can miss him, need some slow daddy. Well, Kevin's like all of our dads, honestly. He keeps everything on track. And
Well,
so,
and speaking of Kevin real quick, I just got a message from him. He's come back home.
Back in his trailer.
He has infections.
Uh-oh.
Dehydrated.
Uh-oh.
Low iron.
Uh-oh.
And remember when he was talking about his esophagus?
mm-hmm.
Yes. What'd they say?
Some of those chest pains came from that because it's inflamed.
Oh, my.
So what? Another week without the bee? What's going on, Kevs?
Nah,
I'm thankful that we made you go, honestly.
I bet he's here tomorrow.
Praise the Lord.
Knowing him, right?
This one says, Monica, or Monica, however you choose to say, thanks for being an educated Hispanic female. You are a true leader for our community. Good job. So I take it I have your vote when I decide to run for something, okay? All right. I'm just saying.
So
I finally wrote it down.
I'm going to do this endorsement of Monica brought to you by Finn's. Now let's do La Tienda in Carlsbad today. They have all kinds of specials going on. They have the flyers there at the store. You can just pick it up. There are hundreds and hundreds at La Tienda in Carlsbad. You can go check them out. They got from meat deals to vegetables and fruit, all those things you need for cookouts, cooking at home, just whipping up something special, a quick snack, dinner for your love. And don't forget that Tuesday, that's tomorrow, is Taco Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
And it features their signature tacos. And they're made with that USDA prime ribeye steak there at La Tienda in Carlsbad. And you definitely want to stop by there and do that.
Mm-hmm.
They also, on Friday, so you stop by lunch for Tuesday for Taco Tuesday. On Friday, stop in for Fajita Friday. Yeah, that also features USDA prime ribeye steak fajitas. And you can buy them by the burrito or buy them by the pound for tailgating. And they do that on Friday, so you can do it right before football on Saturday or Sunday or Sunday. Guys,
to that, whoever that person was, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I appreciate you. That is so. Like, your one comment made me feel so much better, like all the other comments that we get.
Look
the
at you go.
unsupportive comments.
Look at you,
Tom.
All right. Typical Kamala supporter, says John from Eunice, expecting something for free. I mean, they get exactly what they paid for and exactly what they deserve, says John from Eunice.
Nada. They get enough
For
stuff
Kamala?
for free. Yeah.
you don't want none of that.
Absolutely
Don't put that
not.
evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Don't you put Good morning, you great announcers. I am from Roswell, New Mexico, USA. And yes, we did have some flooding and a lot of devastation, but so many church members in the community are helping clean up, and the city workers have been doing a great job. And when it comes to the election, all I can say is vote for life. Absolutely. I think that you guys have definitely pulled through. Roswell has been, y'all ain't got nothing. Nobody has nothing on
you know, the flooding was just over a week ago, and our question today is, who would you say won his honor as the first responders?
What first responder would you like to honor?
And what those first responders did over there, the National Guard rescued over 300 people. The Sheriff's Department was out there rescuing firefighters, water. I mean, everybody did their part to be safe.
And honestly, just community members who love their city and just love people and just went and rescued people, elderly people that I just, it makes, I don't, that's kind of foolish to say, you want to be ready to do something, but absolutely, I want to be one of those people who are just running to the danger to go and get people. I probably won't.
I did that for 12 years.
That's amazing.
We come together here in Southeast New Mexico.
We do. We're a bunch of little people who can.
And then Ruidoso had first responders over helping in Roswell.
Amen.
And they, of course, had their own.
And Ruidoso's had a bad run.
Yeah.
Fires and flooding, and this is bad end of the summer.
Yep.
One more before we change subjects.
Sure.
I spent most of the last week in Roswell. There are so many amazing stories. Here are two. I was helping at a home when a neighbor came by with their sump pump and pumped out their basement just because they could. And there were truckloads of teenagers looking to help as well. Wow.
Amen.
That is awesome.
Amen.
Awesome.
Amen to that.
And Jimmy John's is releasing a new Pickle Witch that's unlike any other sandwich on his menu. Why? Because instead of the bread, the sandwich uses 2 halves of a giant kosher dill pickle. Yeah, if you like pickles, I guess you're in for it.
Well, when I was growing up, there was this girl who would bring her lunch to school. And, I thought it was just a difference in cultures. She was she was white. I was Mexican. So I, would bring my little burritos or my bologna and cheese sandwiches.
Right.
And she would bring, on the prettiest bread ever, mayonnaise, pickles, cucumbers, more mayonnaise. And I was like, that's a pickle sandwich.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, but
because if you think about it, pickles are just pickled cucumbers.
Correct. And I remember thinking to myself, that's disgusting. And then every time I'd see it, I'm like, I wish I had one. I wanted one, And so it was just, that's neat. So I'm really not surprised that there's been an official.
Well, you can try it at Jimmy John's.
I'm gonna try
wherever there's one at.
I'm gonna try.
And this food thought of the day from Monica is going to be brought to you by Platinum Auto Sales in Platinum Auto Services in Carlsbad. The professional mechanic services you can trust. If you're looking for reliable and high quality auto services, look no further. Their team at Platinum Auto Services is here to keep your vehicle running smoothly and safely. They do oil changes, window tinting, suspension work, AC services, diagnostics, alignments, tires and accessories, and a lot more. Why should you choose them? Well, they're certified expertise. They're ASE certified techs, are skilled and experienced. They have quality parts and great customer satisfaction. Yeah, no more waiting months for a repair. So you can schedule your appointment today. Give them a call, 575-689-6900, or just stop in 606 South Canal in Carlsbad. Excuse me. Monica, text.
All right. Is Monica's favorite word like?
No, her favorite word is tender.
Or listen.
I have a lot of favorite words. Listen, like, tender, shonda, a la máquina. I find myself saying these words or phrases more than I should. Probably. Listen.
It's called the hook.
The hook line. At least it's not word salad, y'all. Unless I just throw them all together.
Tom, what do you got?
She already read up.
Okay, so we're caught up.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah. So a New Mexico officer, the one that was killed in the line of duty, he is going to be honored nationally. Speaking of first responders to be honored.
See,
It's a
got me
Southern
saying
New
tender.
Mexico police officer that was killed in line of duty. That it was in the 96-year history of Las Cruces Police Department. Not one officer had ever been lost in the line of duty till last year.
Oh.
Now, is it coincidence that we have a lot of illegal foreigners coming across in that area? I don't know. You tell me. So Las Cruces officers will make their annual trip to D.C. during National Police Week, but for the first time, they will honor one of their own. They'll visit the memorial wall where his name will already be etched, said the chief there in Las Cruces.
Wow.
Now, the officer that was killed was Jonah Hernandez, if you remember, and he's one of many who will be inducted into the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in May of next year is when that takes place. So Officer Hernandez was responding to a trespassing call when a suspect in what police said was an unprovoked attack stabbed him.
Oh, my God.
The suspect was then shot and killed by a nearby witness, and Hernandez died from his injuries. Now, the chief, he hopes that the story shows the department's support to the late officer's wife and his 2 children. And thoughts and prayers go out to his family still reeling from that today.
Right.
So, all right. Morning show, as we get caught. Let's check in on the weather right quick. That'll be brought to you by WWRV. If you're wanting an affordable, quiet place to park your RV while you're working in and around Carlsbad, WWRV is 3 RV parks in one with a goal to be a quiet place for their working tenants. 162 RV sites with 30 and 50 amp available, and all utilities are included in the price, including their premier wired internet at each site, which is great for gaming and movie streaming. WWRV is pet friendly and well lit with plenty of streetlights, and you can get pricing and contact info by visiting their website. That is www.rvx3.com or call 988-0392 for WWRV. Tom?
All right. This fresh text says, and Monica cackles like Kamala Harris way too much.
Listen, Kamala cackles like I do. I've been laughing like that for years, y'all. I can't help it. I apologize. No, I'll agree. I laugh obnoxiously loud, but I can't be fake about it. I can't. Like when something's hilarious, I get weak, and it's hilarious. Like I'm not gonna. I can't do it. I can't. I'm not gonna do that. Oh Lord, see, you clown me, and I'm gonna keep laughing. Brother, are you listening?
Man,
George Campos Jr., are you listening? If you are, shoot me a text real quick, because I'd like to say something on your behalf right now. Pero, text me.
Tom.
That's
okay. For those in Roswell, because we were talking about that earlier, there is school today. Remember, they were out last week because of all the flooding.
Right.
Today, school is back in session. So their buses have been fully cleaned and they've passed their inspection. And they said they're excited to have the kiddos back in class. So if you were wondering and you're in Roswell, school will be starting pretty quick here. So get your kiddos to the school.
Back to smoking in the bars. Remember that?
No, don't do that.
I don't do that.
No. And the Pentagon updated Directive 5240.01. It's a document setting out how the military intelligence could be used by local law enforcement and other U.S. authorities. The Secretary of Defense can approve assistance in responding with assets with potential for lethality. Remember, we were talking about that. Or any situation in which it's reasonably foreseeable that providing the requested assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. So not only has Kamala Harris unleashed the possibility of the military using lethal force on American citizens, but with this Department of Defense directive, that is going to allow law enforcement to also do that.
Oh.
So it is going to allow law enforcement to turn on the citizens. That does not sound very nice. Now, we ought to be really thankful for our law enforcement in Southeast New Mexico, because our law enforcement in Southeast New Mexico, I don't believe would ever do that.
Oh, no. No.
They,
Oh, no.
our law enforcement here, the sheriff's offices, etc., they are here to serve the people. They are here to uphold the law. They are not here to take over the country.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, you have Kamala Harris out there saying about a coup or not transferring power. Well, there's only one person in this race who's actually done a coup, and that's Kamala Harris. And now they've issued directives so that lethal force can be issued. She did it bloodless before. Do you think they're gearing up for something like a civil war or an armed conflict?
I think that's all part of it.
You want to talk about who's Hitler?
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know, my brother told me, I was talking to him yesterday.
Yeah.
My brother in Midland, so he's a year younger than I am. And I said, there's no way that you're correct on that. He said Kamala's daddy, a strange daddy.
Yeah. The Marxist professor.
Yeah. Was a conservative at heart.
No.
I said, you're lying.
No. He's a Marxist, far left professor at Berkeley.
Yes.
Which is a far left university.
Says he hasn't talked to her in years.
Well, maybe.
So, and then he called me a liar.
But her mom took her to Canada, where she was raised. She was born in Oakland. They lived in Berkeley, right on the edge of Oakland. Both her mother and her father are Marxists. She took him to Canada, brought him back. But he had a hand in raising her at those formidable years. So this Marxist ideology is to her core.
Right in her alley.
And she doesn't mind lying to people, just like the fracking thing.
Right.
But she's not even good at her lies.
And while we're on Kamala and lying, Mama Bear early this morning sent a picture. She said, not sure if you guys are going to talk about this, but the whole, I worked at McDonald's, or Obama saying she worked at McDonald's during her college career, whatever.
Right.
There's a picture that's kind of gone viral of a woman who is in her McDonald's uniform. She's a white Canadian woman who passed away from cancer in 2007. Well, they stole the picture, obviously, and misused it by putting Kamala's face over the woman in the McDonald's uniform face.
Was it is it a good job, or is it a bad Photoshop?
Okay.
It's okay. But when you look at the original picture, you're like, oh my gosh. Then you look at the Kamala picture and you're like, you can see the difference in the shade from her neck and her face. And it's like, they stop at absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
They're not going to stop.
They're going to go to crazy lengths to make these lies believable.
This is crazy. Let's check in with the weather real quick, because I said that earlier and I haven't done it. So right now, being brought to you by A Custom Construction and Roofing. Roofing and insurance specialists, licensed, bonded, and insured. Locally veteran owned and operated for more than 30 years. And for all of those 30 years, they've had an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They give free estimates. Call Dwayne Pinnick today, 575-318-9725. A Custom Construction and Roofing urges you to be aware of unlicensed and out-of-town contractors. Once they're gone, so is your warranty. Don't believe what they say. Kind of like a leftist politician. Yeah. So the weather's going to be brought to you by A Custom Construction and Roofing. Going to get hot today. Going to be in the upper 80s, which is hot for this time of year. Tomorrow as well, going to be in the mid 80s, but come Wednesday, we're back in the 70s. And then Thursday and Friday in the upper 60s, possibly low 70s. And we have a pretty good chance of rain come Friday. You can check out the full 5-day forecast. Go to W105radio.com. Tom in the text.
Reginald Tom A. Hader is chiming in with Jamie Raskin threatening to not certify the 2024 election if Trump wins. And with Civil War, I did bring up 2 weeks ago of this is Biden's directive, says the original Tom A. Hader this morning.
Okay. Go ahead, Tom.
And she has stated that she will contest the election if she loses, says another texter.
Oh, she said that she's going to fight it if she loses?
I haven't heard that.
So much for a peaceful transfer of power
Right.
that they were all complaining about.
And this chapter says, Monica, she's got a happy laugh. Did y'all see? Did y'all see that Donald Trump is going to be in Albuquerque on Halloween?
Yes,
we did.
Yes, and we want to go. Well, I do.
Yeah.
I'm in.
And before you get to more
Well,
text,
maybe.
speaking of Trump, and we were talking about his Madison Square Garden appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many people that holds?
Oh no, but tell me.
30,000 something.
No, that Madison Square Garden only holds 19,500 people.
That's it?
Okay.
But they had 75,000 people outside.
Yeah, oh man.
He had an amazing lineup.
So that's
Like, of
almost 90,000 people, about 94.5
They
at
should
the
have had it.
Madison Square Garden.
They should have had it where the Jets and the
That
Giants play.
deserves another.
Right?
Man.
So there you go. Any more text, Tom?
We're caught up.
All right. So the Texas Tech got beat
Did they?
by TCU. Wow. But the Texas Tech kicker flashed a Make America Great Again t-shirt.
Did he really?
After scoring a touchdown
on
a trick play.
Sweet.
His name is Reese Burkhart, and he had a career moment when he scored that touchdown on a fake field goal. Then gave a shout out to former President Donald Trump.
Aww.
After taking the surprise pitch and racing around the TCU defenders to get to the end zone in the second quarter, he pulled his jersey up to reveal Trump 24, Make America Great Again, or
That's awesome.
MAGA.
That is so cool.
I think we should change it and confuse the left. Instead of saying Make America Great Again, say Make America America Again.
Absolutely.
So they can say Ma.
Ma.
Yeah, so Texas Tech ended up losing 35-34.
Oh.
But that kicker, he was the talk of the game. Did you see that? If you did, text us 877-396-9105. Text lines are open, and so you can do that.
All right, sports-wise, L.A. Dodgers are up on the New York Yankees 2-0. Game 3 is tonight. And the Dodgers could take a 3-0 lead in that series.
They could.
Yeah.
They could.
Now, I did not see any NFL games. I wasn't paying attention to any of them yesterday, Tom.
Cowboys lost.
Did they?
Yeah.
Who'd they lose to?
Frisco, 49ers.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get to watch any games. I watched band all weekend and
Did you?
did some fun stuff. But yeah, I knew that the Cowboys lost last night because I kind of caught the end of it.
Mhm.
I knew that the Longhorns won, and PA said they shouldn't have won. It shouldn't have been that close of a game, honestly. That's what he said. And I do know that my brother is in heaven right now because his Dodgers are leading in the series. So I had to throw on the Yankees cap to, maybe the Yankees will come out on top today, making it an interesting series.
So,
I mean,
for today, while you're wearing that hat, you're one of my least favorite people.
that's what Patrick said. He was like, you make that ugly hat look nice. He's like,
Mhm.
that's the only reason why I like
Well,
this.
being a lifelong Texas Ranger fan, I don't like the Yankees.
And it's not that I love the Yankees.
Now, I
and
love
I'm like,
I
supportive. I just like
the
baseball caps.
Yankees team in the 50s,
Yeah.
because of all the people that played on that team and all
Mickey
the
Mantle,
legendary, all those legendary players. But
So I don't really have a baseball team, I guess you could say. I mean, I like the Yankees. I like the Dodgers. I like the Astros. I like the Rangers.
just don't be a bandwagon fan.
I'm not. I'm just gonna, whoever wins out of these two teams, I'm gonna be happy with. But if I can sport the Yankee ball cap this week, I will.
Well, the 70s were my Yankees when Reggie Jackson hit those 3 home runs
Mm.
against the L.A. Dodgers. That last time that those two teams played each other.
So, are
And-
you a Reggie Jackson A's fan?
Yeah. Well, Reggie hit those 3 against Manny Sosa, Rick Rhoden, and Happy Harrison in that ball
Like
game.
Tom's there in that moment.
So it was like, wow, man. But they got a couple of sluggers for the Yankees. Maybe they get it going. Maybe they'll be able to win tonight.
Maybe. Hey, we're going to, as we're talking about these politics, I got a bunch of stories, obviously, about the election and stuff. But according to this survey, about 60% of Americans say that this presidential election is damaging their mental health.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's 6 out of 10. Right?
It can be overwhelming. There are so many things that can overwhelm you, but you just have to basically get your ducks in a row, figure out what it is that's important to you, and shut everything else off.
Right. Right. Oh, and that shut off your brain moment. It's going to be brought to you by Maine Trailer Sales. Don't go camping without them. Serving all of Southeast New Mexico with the largest inventory of new and pre-owned RVs, including Keystone, Cougar, just to name a few. Fifth wheels, toy haulers, ultralight trailers. If you're working in the patch or living in a hotel, put that per diem to work for you. Maine Trailer Sales has been serving New Mexico for more than 65 years. You don't do that without great customer service. You can check out their website at maintrailersalesinc.com or give them a call, 575-622-1751. Their customer service is guaranteed. They've had it for more than 65 years. Maine Trailer Sales, don't go camping without them. Tom?
All right. Smokey in Arizona is asking, guys, did y'all see where Kamala Harris and a bunch of doctors at the rally and did not one of them come off the stage to help an individual who was having a medical crisis? They did not heed medical assistance, says Smokey in Arizona this morning. I didn't see that. Did y'all?
I did not.
No.
I did not.
And yes, I love Monica's laugh, says Smokey in Arizona.
And Blake, I sent you a TikTok of Kamala in the Houston rally where none of the doctors were willing to help an attendant that needed medical assistance. So
I will check that out in a little bit, Smokey. Since I'm flying by the seat of my pants this morning, it was unexpected I was going to be here because Kevin was going to be out. So I really haven't looked at my phone.
And Smokey, I know that you keep sending me the question if I've checked out the Jose Monkey on TikTok. And the truth is, I haven't. I mean to do it every time I leave from the morning show, and I just forget.
Jose
Let me set a
Monkey?
reminder right now. Jose Monkey. Yeah, and he was sharing that with me.
To be funny. Was
no,
that funny?
because he was telling me basically why it's not a good idea for us to post pictures of our young girls on social media.
Oh, yeah.
And so I meant to go and watch it. I will. I'm putting a reminder right now on my to-do
Well,
list.
and that's kind of a good reminder for a lot of folks. We've grown up. Those of us older, social media is a newer thing.
Correct.
But for many younger folks, you and younger,
Mhm.
Monica,
Mhm.
Monica just turned 41.
I'm 41.
So millennials and younger.
Sure.
They've grown up with social media
Mhm.
being a formative part of
Right.
their growing up experience. But there's a lot of ill that can come from sharing too much.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like we all did that starting out, right? And the joke is, if you want to know what somebody had for dinner or you want to know when their restroom schedule is or anything like that, right? In the early days of social media, that's what it was.
Sure. Right.
And but sharing for the kids, you have to remember that they are going to grow up. Whatever you have shared about them is already out there, which is one reason why, the naked butt baby pictures, I don't care. Nobody cares.
Sure.
We have those from our generation, but they were actual photos.
In albums, yeah.
But if it's out there on social media, if it's out there on the World Wide Web, anyone can access those things.
Mhm.
And if you have a stalker, and this is the evil part, if you have a stalker that likes kids and you are posting in real time where you're taking your kids, what your kids are doing, kids at home, oh, look, this is our house. And look, there's the house number out there on the house. And you're posting all that stuff. Just remember, even if you have some of that stuff set to private, other people can still see it.
Ooh.
So be very cautious, especially putting your kids out there. It's why a lot of schools, have particular policies about taking pictures of kids and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So just be very careful. Now, I haven't seen the monkey thing, but I just know that that's a practical thing, is to be protective of your children.
Got to be.
Tom?
All right, Papa Top says about my stats on Reggie Jackson. Tom, that was 50 years ago. You're right. It was 1977. And another texter says, again, what happened to Kevin? He got sick this morning, but he's back home. So hopefully he'll be better enough to come back on the show tomorrow.
He is. All right. And both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris were in Michigan over the weekend.
Mhm.
And Trump tried to make his case to Muslim voters who are frustrated with Harris and Biden in response to the Israel-Hamas war during a rally in Nova, Michigan. And while there, Harris was in Kalamazoo and brought First Lady Michelle, or as Kevin would say, Big Mike,
right,
to do for her. And Harris also got heckled over the war in Gaza during her rally. So it could be possible for Trump to flip some of these blue states. And predictors have said if he wins Michigan, he'll win the White House. So we'll see what happens there. Monica, anything else on tech?
Yes. Tracy from Eunice talking about the Texas Tech play. I saw the play and I could see that he wrote it on his T-shirt. It made me laugh and it made our day. Go Tech.
Another texter says on the Commanders game yesterday, you should see the Hail Mary the Commanders made. And that LSU quarterback last year, who was also the Heisman Trophy, threw that thing up in the air.
He did.
And it landed right in the receiver's hands in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those moments.
Yeah.
They were talking about it on. I was listening to one of the news channels on coming in this morning, and they were talking about it on there. So it was that big of a play.
Wow.
They're 6-2. Dallas is 3-4. 2 games behind.
So,
yep.
Really quick, I want to go back to the Dodgers and the Yankees. Those of you who are listening, texters, Yankees, texters, who's it going to be? The Yankees or the Dodgers? Patrick says, I hope the Yankees get swept. Listen, I just want a good series. Hopefully the Yankees.
I'm with you, Patrick.
Listen, I know who my brother's going for. He's a big Dodgers fan. Who else? Who else are y'all going for? Let us know in the text, okay? Let us know. I got that Southern draw.
All right, Kamala. That's what you're trying
I know. That's what somebody called me. They were like,
to channel it. Speaking of that, I do have a couple more sound bites here. This is Lindsey Graham talking about the election. It said just 9 days out. So this was a few days ago because tomorrow is 1 week. So we're eight days out. So here you go. Here is Lindsey Graham.
Let me just ask you just straight up, where do you think this race stands?
I like where we're at. The issues that mean the most to independents in your own poll are immigration, the economy, and inflation. And Biden won independents by 13 in 2020 in your poll. She's up by 1. So I really like where we're at. 61% of the people in the New York Times poll said we're on the wrong track. So that's the number I look at most, Jonathan, is wrong track. If you're an incumbent, and she is, and 60% of the people plus believe the nation's on the wrong track, and Trump is still leading on the issues most important to people in their daily lives.
That's kind of interesting. And it really goes to show in a couple other polls as well. It says Democrats support for voter ID is surging. Democrats want voter ID as well. This was a national survey by Gallup. Wow. So a reputable polling thing.
Wow.
They asked U.S. adults if they support requiring all voters to provide photo ID at the voting place in order to vote. Now, 84% of U.S. adults say they support a photo ID. Yeah. 84%.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. It says while virtually all Republican adults, 98%, said they back it, 67% of Democrats also back a voter ID.
Wow.
Now that's jumped up from about 53% in 2022.
That's a lot, dude.
That is a tremendous amount. Like I said, overall Americans, 84%. So it's not politically divided anymore.
No.
Stephen A. Smith on the state of Kamala's campaign. He was over on Sean Hannity. I haven't listened. Yeah. Well, I kind of find that hard to believe, too. I have not listened to this cut, so I don't know what it is other than what I just said.
Hope he doesn't cuss.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's all bleeped out, but here we go.
I'm predicting that privately you're going to vote for Trump.
Oh, then never. And I told you I'm on the record. I'd have voted almost for any Republican but him. Okay? Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, I would have voted for
I'm not trying to set you
not
off.
him.
I got to go. I love you, Stephen A. God bless you. And
There you go. So Stephen A., he is a never Trumper. Now, one of the interesting things, and we've talked about a lot of the news media and them being not non-biased, that they should be non-biased, but that's not what they've been, right? They full out support Kamala Harris. They try and back her. They try to, whoever it is against Trump, they hate Trump.
Right.
They want to see him destroyed. J.D. Vance had an interesting tit for tat, I will say, with Jake Tapper.
Yeah,
over on CNN. And I've got part of that. Jake tries to defend his network, but J.D. Vance shows his skill in debate and arguing right here in this. Now, this is a little bit long, but I want to play it anyway. Here we go.
Work integrity. You guys talked about the Russia hoax nonstop.
The FBI was investigating it. The FBI was investigating it, and so we covered them.
And so you took the words of unnamed FBI agents and put them on your network as if they were the gospel truth. You did it again and again. A viewer of your network would have believed that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin conspired in 2016.
No.
That was totally and preposterously false.
No.
Well, that's
what you just
that's
said is
why.
false. We covered an FBI investigation. I don't know why you want to talk about the FBI investigation.
You covered it in a way that gave credence to anonymous sources' accusations. You did it yourself. Your network did it, Jake. But again, can we talk about the issues that Americans care most about?
I'm talking about things that Donald Trump has said.
Yes.
If you have an issue with whether or not he's talking about the economy enough, that's between you and your running mate. I'm talking about things he has said this week.
Every single rally that he does, he talks about how he wants to unleash American energy so we can lower the cost of groceries. He talks about the fact that housing has become unaffordable. He talks about the wide open border, Jake. Kamala Harris and her allies, you know, it's interesting. Kamala Harris and her media allies, and I would put CNN in this category. You guys seem to care.
I'll tell you that. They wouldn't.
Well, they should watch your network more because you guys seem to care more about Donald Trump's past than the future of the American people.
So kind of interesting when, and people talking about people addressing people with respect. Would you say that Jake Tapper had any respect for J.D. Vance there?
No.
No, I don't think so.
None.
There was none in his voice. And if you saw his body language,
Oh, yeah.
he has no respect whatsoever for a potential vice president. And the way that he argued with him. You know, the job of a journalist is to ask the question.
Correct.
Yes.
And to redirect and ask the question to get the answer.
And to accept the response.
But not necessarily to argue
Right.
with a candidate and to say, well, that's between you and your candidate. If you want to talk about respect, because we had some people that text us a while back about that. There's a real good example of lack of respect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is
I
just the
will
way
agree 100%.
that he handled that. We still have this day in history. We still have the pledge. We still have the prayer. All kinds of stuff still to get to. Morning show being brought to you by Atlas Makeup Mirror and Grooming Tool this morning. ×1, ×5, ×10 magnification mirrors. I probably could have used that this morning when I was shaving in the dark because I missed a few spots. That has really bright LED lights. If I would have turned it on, I could have seen what I was doing. Travels easy in a traveling case, weighs less than 4 pounds. It's perfect for putting on your makeup or trimming or shaving or anything you need to do grooming wise. Give inventor Rebecca Long a call today, 575-631-3189, or you can go online to atlasmakeupmirror.com. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram and at all your favorite places to shop. And now they have that wall mount version. And you could just do it to the wall. You don't have to get out of the case. You can keep the other one for traveling.
Yep.
And use that. Tom in the text.
All right. Hey, Monica, says the text, that Yankees hat will make your hair fall out. So keep wearing it. Says the texter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Monica Harris, that Yankees hat will make your hair fall out.
Monica Harris.
Monica Harris.
So we have a Tamala and a Monica Harris.
I'm going to say he's calling me that because of my cackle.
I guess.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, here's a question for you guys. Can Congress change the voter ID laws?
Not before the election, but they can. They can change federal election law. They can't change state election law.
Oh, they can't.
But they can require voter ID for federal elections, which would override a state law.
And Patrick is chiming in. I'm a Bears fan, and that Hail Mary pass says was a bad ASS. Good defensive game as well, and go Dodgers, says Patrick this morning.
Nice.
So no go commies for the Commanders?
No. And then someone else chimed in and said the Dodgers are who they're wanting to win.
And then somebody else talking about the ball got batted and into the hands of that receiver in the back of the end. Well, of course, that's the reason they call it the Hail Mary pass.
Hail Mary.
You got to have some luck, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, and again, we do have to get to this day in history and the prayer and the national anthem. So let's go ahead and do that. I like to do that before the kids get into class. So let's see what we can do there. We will go ahead and do this day in history. It's being brought to you by 2A Tactical Firearms and Indoor Firing Range, 236 East Navajo Suite 1200 in Hobbs. They're veteran-owned and the largest firearms dealer around. State-of-the-art indoor shooting range with Milo FBI training simulator where Tom died repeatedly, but he did well when he was shooting the real gun.
I hit the duck.
You did. And you can shoot live fire or a laser on that Milo with more than 1,000 different scenarios. Lots of ammo in stock and online, plus a large selection of optics from Night Force, Vortex, EOTech, and more. 2A Tactical carries all types of firearms and accessories, including safes, tactical gear, and a new full line of King's camo in stock. Plus, if 2A Tactical doesn't have what you want, you can go to their website, 2atacticalrange.com, and they offer financing. Now, monthly memberships and hourly rates are available with a huge variety of guns for rent, including a fully auto AR. 2A Tactical has your suppressors, also known as silencers, and right now suppressors are getting approved faster than ever. But as always, you can come and shoot your suppressor in range even before you get approved. You just can't take it home with you. Not your typical gun store. 2A Tactical Firearms and Indoor Firing Range, 236 East Navajo Suite 1200 in Hobbs, or online at 2atacticalrange.com. Proud sponsor, This Day in History.
Today is a very special day.
Nope, that's the wrong one. That was my opener. Here we go. The Dutch philosopher Aramis was born on this day in 1466. On this day in 1636, the first college in America, Tom, what was it?
Yale.
Harvard opened its doors.
Neighborhood.
And yeah, they are in the same neighborhood. 1726, Gulliver's Travels was published for the very first time. Author Jonathan Swift thanked all the little people who made it possible. It's a Lilliputian joke. Captain James Cook was born on this day in 1728. And on this date in 1793, Eli Whitney applied for a patent for
the cotton gin.
Bing, bing, Tom wins.
Hit the bell.
It's over there.
I knew I should have bought that bell and Klein
right? The Statue of Liberty was dedicated way back on this day in 1886. It was a gift from France, but they thought it might have been from IKEA because it came in pieces. Okay, my jokes aren't working this morning. On this date in 1904, St. Louis police introduced a new investigation method called fingerprinting.
Yes.
And in 1918, Czechoslovakia declared its independence from Austria. And then later, the Czech Republic and Slovakia. It was on this day in 1919 that Congress enacted the Volstead Act, which provided an enforcement of prohibition over President Wilson's veto. Yes, Congress outlawed alcohol. In 1922, the very first coast-to-coast radio broadcast of a football game took place.
What was it, Tom?
It doesn't tell me who it was. Tom, do you know?
No.
Okay. On this day in 1929, a baby was born in an airplane for the very first time in Miami.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. And in 1961, record store owner Brian Epstein received a request from a customer for a song called My Bonnie from an obscure new group called The Beatles. He had never heard of them, but he soon became their manager.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And in 1965, the Gateway Arch in St. Louis was completed. If you're ever in St. Louis, I urge you to go to the Gateway Arch.
It's pretty cool.
It is
It's
a lot
amazing.
of fun to go up. The elevator is a kind of a trolley little car system, and it's a very cool little.
Let's go all the way to the top.
It does, and it lets you out, and you
The
can look,
curves
and
up.
you can look out. Yeah, it was the specially designed one.
Wow.
And you can look out the top. It's very interesting. Today is National First Responders Day, National Internal Medicine Day, and National Chocolate Day. Birthdays today, yeah. So if you're a first responder, have some chocolate.
Have some chocolate.
Today's birthdays. Matt Smith is 42.
Never heard of him.
He was the 11th Doctor on Doctor Who, Prince Philip on the first 2 seasons of The Crown, and most recently, Daemon Targaryen in House of Dragons. Actress Gwendolyn Christie from, Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones and Star Wars
Never heard
turns
of
46 today. Game of Thrones, she was Brienne of Tarth. Star Wars, she was Phasma. Joaquin Phoenix turns the big 50 today.
Does he really?
Yeah, no joker. Country singer Brad Paisley is 52 today.
Aw.
His full name is Brad Douglas Paisley. Julia Roberts celebrates birthday number 57 today.
That's your really pretty woman does.
Yeah. Andy Richter, who was unmasked on The Masked Singer a few weeks ago, turns 58 today. Jamie Gertz is 59. You may know her from things like Twister, Square Peg, 16 Candles, Lost Boys, Less Than Zero. Lots of movies in the 80s.
Yeah.
Microsoft founder and billionaire Bill Gates turns 69 today. Yeah, reboot this. Annie Potts is 72.
Really?
She is. Name something she was in, Tom.
Designing Women.
She was. She was Mary Jo on Designing Women. She was also in Ghostbusters, and she was the voice of Bo Peep in Toy Story.
Aw.
And Caitlyn Jenner turned 75 today.
Oh, Bruce is 75.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Caitlyn and Bruce have the same birthday. I wonder if they're related. Hard to believe she was once on a Wheaties box. And if today is your birthday, happy birthday to you. All right. Still got lots of stuff we got to get to. We have the Lord's Prayer, the National Anthem, and the Pledge. Coming up, the National Anthem and the Pledge being brought to you by Rebecca Long. When it comes to protecting your home, autos, boats, RTVs, RVs, commercial, or life insurance, call Rebecca Long. Rebecca started her business at the age of 19 and is still helping people 40 years later. Stop by 226 West Vega in Hobbs and check in with Rebecca today, or give her a call, 575-393-2661. That's 575-393-2661. Rebecca Long, your farmer's insurance agent. She can customize and bundle your coverage options, and talk with her today so you can decide if your coverage is ready for whatever may come your way. Rebecca Long, 575-393-2661. Proud sponsor of the National Anthem and the Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Carrie Underwood.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets spread glare, the bombs bursting in still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
God bless America. God bless you. Lord's Prayer today being brought to you by Judah Oil. Judah Oil would like to remind everyone to remain positive during these times. Always keep your family and first and focus on those things you have control over. Know that God is always in control and will guide you.
For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, and plans to give you hope and a future.
Hello, I'm here with my wife Dixie, and I'm Blaise Campanella with Judah Oil. We pray that as you go through your day, that you will see all the blessings you've been given. God said that He will prosper you and not harm you. See, in a world that is lost, God is there. Yes, in the most empty place, your most fearful circumstance, God is there. He will never leave you. Never forget, Jesus loves you. He really, really does. Please take a moment and pray the Lord's Prayer with us. God bless you. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Lord's Prayer being brought to you by Judah Oil. We got to get to news, got to take a break. I just got a message that Nella is on her way. Hopefully we'll have her around 8:30 after we take that break at 8:30. But we got to take a break right now. This news being brought to you by Ragsdale Law Firm. Are you looking for the leading accident lawyer in New Mexico? Have you been involved in an oil field accident? Well, call Luke Ragsdale today. Have you been in an automobile accident? Well, call Luke Ragsdale. You can call him at 575-208-5300, or you can stop by their office at 600 North Pennsylvania in Roswell. They have all kinds of verdicts and settlements: a $10 million oil field wrongful death, a $9 million medical malpractice, a $650,000 slip and fall, so much. Give Luke Ragsdale a call today, 575-208-5300. We're checking in with news right now on W105.
Nomad and Hobbs and Tatum presents the W105 Cash Blowout.
Call now.
Call 877-396-W105 now. Be one of the first 5 people to call in for your chance to win $105. The W105 Cash Blowout.
I want my money. And I want it now.
Call in now to win.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. Vice President Harris swings through Michigan today. 3 stops. She told the crowd yesterday in Philadelphia.
Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work. And make no mistake, we will win. We will win.
Former President Obama will be in Philadelphia today, delivering remarks at a Harris campaign rally. Former President Trump speaking at a sold-out crowd at Madison Square Garden in New York City.
And I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
Today, he travels to suburban Atlanta before holding a rally at Georgia Tech, and German airline Lufthansa extends its Tel Aviv flight suspensions to late November. America's listening to Fox News.
Looking for a new adventure? Need to heat up your career? Lovington Fire Department is looking for you. Now hiring certified firefighters for $25.26 per hour and non-certified for $19.19 per hour, and EMT specialists for $28.78 per hour. This opportunity comes with a 48 on, 96 off work schedule, possible overtime, health, vision, and dental. Lovington Fire Department provides a competitive environment for advancement and growth, from classes and certifications to promotions. Pick up an application at Fire Station 1, located at 213 South Love Street in Lovington, or apply at lovingtonfire.com.
If you need an aggressive, experienced personal injury attorney who is honest and true, you need to get the Gorilla.
So I'm 23 years old. I worked at a warehouse, and I took an injury which caused the amputation of my right leg. I was approached by a specific firm, and they turned my case down within 5 minutes. I was told to come visit the Gorilla Law Firm, and immediately they saw potential in my case. And I tell you what, Gorilla Law Firm had my back when no one else did. The Gorilla Law Firm made me a multi-millionaire. And if you're injured, you call the Gorilla Law Firm too.
The Gorilla Law Firm, 3130 North Grimes and Hobbs, or call 575-964-2720.
This is Rhonda Romack of Destiny Real Estate, where our business is built on dreams and imagination. Right now, the Lincoln County real estate market has more buyers than sellers. What does that mean? It means that the local market of inventory of houses and ranches is low, but we have plenty of buyers ready and willing to purchase properties. So if you've been considering putting something on the market, it's a good time to get top dollar for your investment. Telephone my team of seasoned professionals at 575-257-3000. That's Rhonda Romack of Destiny Real Estate, online at rudoso-nm.com.
Are you a mechanic looking for a career, not just a job? Hobbs Truck and Trailer is now hiring heavy-duty and light medium-duty mechanics. $20 to $45 an hour depending on experience. Retirement, insurance packages, uniforms after 30 days. You owe it to yourself to apply now at Hobbs Truck and Trailer. Call 575-433-4166 or apply online at hobbstruckandtrailer.net. Equal opportunity employer.
Lee County, it's time to invest in the future of higher education. New Mexico Junior College proudly supports the 2024 New Mexico GEO Bond, and we urge you to vote yes this November. Bond 3 will help renovate campus by enhancing classrooms, offices, restrooms, and more. This bond will boost student success and strengthen our community. Let's make a difference for tomorrow. Vote yes on the New Mexico GEO Bond this November.
The global demand for oil and natural gas is growing, and leaders are looking to American producers to satisfy that demand with the abundant resources available in our country. If you're passionate about keeping energy affordable for your neighbor and reliable for everyone, then it's time you consider a career in oil and natural gas. Coterra Energy is expanding their Permian team and is offering an unmatched employee benefits package. If you're interested in applying, text Coterra to 71441. That's COTERRA to 71441. Coterra Energy is an equal opportunity employer.
Early and absentee voting has begun. You can now cast your vote for election 2024 in Lee County. Early voting locations include in Hobbs at the Lee County Annex Building at 1019 East Bender and at the Lee County Event Center, 5101 North Lovington Highway. Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6, starting October 19th in Lovington in the Courthouse Basement Conference Room, 100 North Main. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, starting Tuesday, October 8th. And the last day for early voting at any location is Saturday, November 2nd from 10 to 6. Don't let your greatest civic duty pass by. Get out, go vote, and vote early. For early voting details, visit leecounty.net and click Election Information.
Tom A takes more hits than the Texas Rangers get in a year.
You may sell that jazz to another pothead, but not to somebody who spends most of their time holding some sick kid's head while he vomits and retches sitting on a curbstone at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Be in the Breakfast Club. Now back to the show.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
I don't think your laugh sounds like her.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like, she's got like an older woman hackle. I have like a younger.
So, Halloween's coming up, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just leave it
I mean,
like that.
if you want to equate her laugh to something, yeah, I think that's pretty close.
You see, I can't laugh like fake like that.
No. So apparently construction has begun in Saudi Arabia on the Muqab, which is going to be the world's largest building.
Oh, wow.
It's going to cost $50 billion to build it.
Wow.
What are they going to put in it?
People. Good idea. It's going to be 1,300 feet tall, 1,200 feet wide.
Wow.
That's big enough to hold 20 Empire State Buildings.
Jeez.
And Tom, to answer your question, not only are there going to be businesses, but there's going to be room in there for 104,000 apartments, and 9,000 hotel rooms.
Oh my gosh.
It's like it's going to be like
huge.
a city
within
In a
a city.
building.
in one building. But
Where
you know,
is
I
this
mean,
being built at?
in Saudi Arabia, which is, you know, one of the Echo left and the Marxist plans is to build what they call 15-minute cities, where you can get everywhere in that
Right.
city in 15 minutes. And they want to funnel everybody from rural areas into those. And that's why they really push electric cars and those kinds of things, because then they control everything about your movement. They also want to, as part of the 15-minute city, and I'm going to say go do your homework on this, as part of that 15 minutes, they want to do away with cash so that all money is electronic. So if you don't have the right social score, you don't agree with them, they can shut down your bank account and keep you from doing anything.
For real.
Yeah, that is a
new world order.
Yeah, really is what it is. That is. And Tom Gerald. Tom, do you know who that is?
Didn't he used to be a reporter?
Yeah, for ABC News. He is now dead at the age of 80.
Really?
Oh, no.
Oh, I got my things up here. One of the things that I was looking at earlier, and Curtis McKinney, our evening show host, it's Cranked Up Country Nights. He posted about this, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. But apparently more Republicans than Democrats have voted early in Arizona, Nevada, and North Carolina. That's just over a week to go. And more than 40 million people, that's 41.2 million people, have already voted either early or by mail.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting, which seems a lot higher than it probably is. Now, we had the totals earlier for
Right.
Southeast New Mexico, and Eddy County is leading the way, right? But Curtis posted up on his show that 26% of Republican voters in Eddy County have gone and voted early. Now, while on the surface, we look at that and we say, oh, well, that's a good thing. Let that sink in a minute. 26% is not a good thing, right? That's barely over a fourth of registered voters. So what is that going to do for our overall turnout? And again, I want to encourage anyone who has not voted yet,
get out and vote.
Go and vote. So make that a priority. Like, because if your voice is not heard now, it's never going to be heard.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And if you're like still on the fence, like, come on, just make a choice already.
Well, I mean, or ask someone you respect.
Absolutely. You know, over the weekend,
I'll tell you who to vote for.
I'll tell you who to vote for, and I'll encourage you and kind of explain what I know. One of my good friends texted me over the weekend. She's like, "Hey, did you already vote?" And I said, "Yeah." And she was like, "I need some help." And I was like, "Okay, with what?" And she was like, "The amendments and the bonds." So, you know, I kind of just led her in the direction in how to vote for those and on those, which was totally, and that's what I said, you know, this is how I voted. You don't have to, but a lot of our beliefs are the same. A lot of our, you know, we've got kids the same age.
Right.
We care about, you know, a lot of the same things. And so she thanked me, and I thought, you know what, that was important to me, that people see, like, if you have a voice and you understand what's going on, use it for the good. You know, we were coming back to Albuquerque really quick, like, we bought some rugs from a gentleman who was, you know, selling his rugs basically in the parking lot of a store.
Wow.
And we told him, how come you don't come down to Southeast New Mexico? You'd probably do really well down here. Like, we don't have, you know, places like this to go. And he's like, well, you know, I've thought about it, yada, yada, yada. And as we were ending the conversation, he said something about, you know, sales and the economy. He was like, man, I just really hope the nation goes in the direction that it needs to. And all that's all he needed to say for us to start a whole new conversation. He talked about how he basically grew up in Silver City,
Mm-hmm.
his dad was a Democrat politician. And so he, once he came of age and began to understand, he started to explain things to his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And in the latter part of his dad's life, he flipped from being a Democrat to a Republican
Right.
because of the way that his son taught him to see things. And
Well,
so,
and it's because the parties change.
absolutely.
The Republicans are now the party of the working people.
are.
They are the party of I hate to say it, but for lack of a better term, real Americans.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know,
So,
the Democrat
yes.
Party has now become the party of elites,
Yeah.
of Marxists,
Right.
of communists,
Yes.
of the super
Awful.
rich.
It is awful.
That's what they and special interests.
Mhm.
Like
You know-
if you want
And so I was using him as an example. If you are a person in your family who has educated yourself on the different side or basically a different point of view, teach your parents that. Teach your brothers and sisters that. Explain things to them in the most simplest form. You have a voice. Like, use that. And you'll, if you could change 2-3 people to
Mhm.
see things different. Wake up, Tom.
there you go.
And
You can change your outlook, Tom.
change your outlook and wake Tom up.
And, speaking of rugs, if you get some rugs, you might need laundry service,
Yep.
right? And you can let North Star Laundry be your one-stop shop for all your laundry needs. North Star now offers dry cleaning, pressing, and starching. You can walk in and use their coin laundry, available in both regular and oil field, or let them take care of the washing and folding for you. Tom, it might be a service you need to look into. They're open for your convenience. North Star Laundry, located in Carlsbad at 609 West Lee and at 604 West Church, and at 406 West Cedar in Loving. And I bring Tom up because there was a drive-through incident when you were doing laundry not that long ago.
Yes.
And Tom had to put all his clothes in the laundry because he didn't have anything to wear when he went
Yeah.
through the drive-through. And
Yeah,
they didn't like that.
Well, I did have my, chonas on it.
You had your chonas and your boxers.
Just didn't have my shirt on.
briefs. What? Do you wear tidy whities or boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
You wear boxers? So you just had your boxers on, or you had boxers and then shorts over?
And shorts on.
Okay, like basketball shorts.
But they
or like
couldn't. The
chill
point was
basketball-
they couldn't see it.
Yeah,
So,
I couldn't see it.
so if you're ever in that kind of case, check out North Star Laundry. Now, you may have seen over the weekend, if you're a Grateful Dead fan, Phil Lesh, who was the bass player and co-founder of the Grateful Dead. I posted that over on my social media.
Okay.
He died last week at the age of 84.
Saw that.
So he and Jerry Garcia will be kind of leading the charge up there in the sky. I understand that Nella is arriving, so we'll get her at about 8:30.
Oh, cool.
But I also want to tell you, as we get into this week, I want to tell you about Finn's Country Market in Artesia. They have all kinds of great specials going on in the produce section. Last week, they had jalapenos.
Jalapeno.
Give me a break. Avocados, sweet corn. They had all of those kinds of specials, but they always rotate through specials in the produce department and in the meat department. Last week, they had pork spare ribs and sausage and top sirloin. But that's not all they have. In the grocery department, you can always count on other specials: condiments, bread, tissues, soda, all those things. And again, they offer Taco Tuesday tomorrow with their signature tacos. You know, they do the USDA prime ribeye steak Taco Tuesday.
Yummy.
And then on Friday, Fajita Friday. You know, again, with that USDA prime ribeye steak. Now, if you want Fajita Friday, you can get enough to last all weekend. You can get it by the burrito. You can get it by the pound. But they have so many savings. You need to stop in there and see them. They're at 2001 West Main in Artesia. And just pick up a flyer when you're there. Subscribe to their email list. Get that weekly flyer. And know all the specials and never miss out. That's Finn's Country Market in Artesia. Tom in the text.
All right. This texter says, I went and voted on Thursday and took my mom. She was not going to vote this year, and she ended up going by herself the following day after explaining the amendments in the bonds to her. Now, she's a 63-year-old Hispanic woman that did not understand how important this election is. And after listening to my point of view, I believe that she saw things a whole lot differently. I am so proud of
As
her.
you should be. You
Amen.
should be very, very proud of yourself. And I hope that your mom just understand. Well, obviously, she does understand the importance. This was the first year that my sister voted. My sister is 50 years old. Why she has sat out this whole time is beyond me. But I threw it in her face. Like, if you love your grandbabies and you love them just a smidget, the way that you say you do, you will do them a solid and you will vote Republican. And she just looked at me. She's like, mm-mm. But the next day she was like, where do I register to vote? And I'm like, and that was all it took, And so I'm so proud of her because she does understand, like, the world has changed. It looks completely different. And if you don't do anything about it, like, our kids, bless their hearts, man. The fact that my 6 and my 8-year-old are so, a lot of people might, look at me or think of me wrong or whatever. We took them to downtown Albuquerque and showed them what it looks like.
Right.
Whenever
the war zone.
Absolutely.
The war zone, right.
And the little one's in tears. She's like looking and she's like, oh my gosh. And we explained to them.
And just
Patrick
imagine,
and I,
that's not even as bad as downtown San Francisco.
And that's exactly what we told them. This is nothing compared to what other places. But we explained to them choices and how throughout life you will always have different choices. And then, of course, PA was able to bring in the politics side about how these people are able to keep making these choices because of the free things that they're offered versus us who work hard. We'd make the right choices. And it was eye-opening. My 8-year-old was like, wow. Like, I don't want to say.
Are free things worth
exactly
that
trash
pile that it has become?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like that long ago.
No, not at all. In the last 4 years, I think it's been crazy. Oh, there's Miss Nella.
Yeah, we'll bring her in just a minute.
Yeah.
Hey, did you hear that Nevada is the latest school to forfeit its scheduled volleyball game against San Jose State?
What happened?
No.
Well, San Jose State has a transgender player on their team, and it is said that player can spike a ball that harder than has ever been done in any female team.
Of course.
Because it's a guy.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
So San Jose forfeited then?
No. San Jose is the school. San Jose State has the transgender player. Nevada is just the latest school to forfeit to them. Half of the wins San Jose State has this year is because other teams forfeit because they're not going to subject their actual women players to these transgender that can injure them on the court.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking about voting. And we're going to be talking to Nella Domenici here real quick about voting in a minute, too. These kinds of issues. Now, obviously, this isn't the only issue you want to cover. But it is the kind of issue that we need to talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because, the average spike by a woman volleyball player is about 60 miles per hour.
Yeah.
If you're thinking.
Tom with the random fact.
I trust him on that.
And a guy who hits it, that thing's going to be.
Yeah, and that's from a girl.
Yeah.
Right? The men's volleyball, you can watch it even in Olympics because they have the men's volleyball or beach volleyball or whatever. So much harder just because men and women are built differently.
DNA, ladies and gentlemen.
Bro,
physiologically. Follow the science.
Yes.
I just don't get it. Okay, I love gay people. I love lesbian people. It's not for me to be like, oh, you're going to go to. Even though my beliefs are, that it's wrong, I don't love you nonetheless. You are who you are. You're still human. God still loves you.
Right.
My thing is, if you're a guy wanting to be a girl, then be a girl. Play soft. Talk soft. Be soft. Don't go and freaking show us all your man stuff and your man skills when you're out on the freaking court.
Well,
be a girl.
I'm going to give you an
dainty.
example. We talked about it earlier. Today is her birthday. Caitlyn Jenner.
Right. No, I will forever call her a man.
Bruce Jenner.
Used to be Bruce Jenner.
Olympian.
Yeah, him.
Now no longer has those parts. So he has done the and he will be the first one.
Yes.
Caitlyn Jenner will be the first one to tell you men do not belong in women's sports.
That's right.
Transgender athletes do not belong in women's sports.
Yeah.
So there it is. I got to get to the boob of the day before we get Nella Domenici in here to talk about all the things election and all the things I'm excited to talk to her about. So, boob of the day being brought to you by Desert Functional Medicine and Aesthetics. They have medical professionals on staff. They offer functional medicines such as natural supplements, stem cell therapy, ozone therapy, and cryotherapy chamber. Ladies, they also offer hormonal optimization. They do that for guys too. Desert Functional Medicine believes in treating the root of the cause of the problem, not just numbing the symptoms. Desert Functional Medicine and Aesthetics, 3900 North Lovington Highway, Suite 550 in Hobbs, 575-964-8025. Proud sponsor of the Boob of the Day. So, you don't often think about Hot Pockets as a dangerous weapon. Have you ever thought about them that way, Tom?
No.
Other than maybe burning the roof of your mouth, right? But this didn't stop this guy. Police in Boston are looking for a guy who went to a corner market, grabbed a Hot Pocket from the fridge, and then threw it at the clerk.
Oh.
That's like a baseball because if it's like frozen, right? The guy apparently got upset because the clerk asked to see his ID before selling him a tobacco product.
Yeah.
They got to have ID for tobacco, but not to vote.
Right.
Another customer witnessed the Hot Pocket assault and told the assailant to chill out. But then they started fighting, and the Hot Pocket guy pulled out a pocket knife and threatened to cut the other guy. Now, they were able to get the bad guy out of the market, lock the door, and call the police. No one was injured, even though one guy was hit by a Hot Pocket. And the Hot Pocket and the knife never hurt anyone. So the guy said the Hot Pocket didn't hurt. As far as we know, the guy is still on the run and probably still looking for a Hot Pocket. And for all that, he is the boob of the day. And of course, boob of the day being brought to us by Desert Functional Medicine and Aesthetics. We got to take a break. When we come back, we will have with us Nella Domenici, and she's going to tell us all about her race for Senate and about the importance of getting out and voting. Like I said, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back on W105. MTD Radio News brought to you by Stone Oilfield Services in Lovington. Get the job done right every time since 2004.
Proudly serving most phases of the oil field process, Stone Oilfield Services has a fleet of over 60 trucks and a workforce of over 100 employees. From water transport to kill and vac truck operations, flowback services and pit filling to the clean out of rigs and tanks, as well as oiling and acidizing, Stone Oilfield believes in getting the job done right every time. Their central motto, do what you say you can do. Call them today at 575-396-1840. That's 396-1840.
MTD Radio News, I'm Blake Ovard. About 490 shipments of nuclear waste have been sent to the Waste Isolation Pilot Plant Repository between Carlsbad and Hobbs so far this year, officials said, but the Department of Energy plans to decrease shipments in the next year as it begins processing more difficult waste streams. The DOE and Salado Isolation Mining Contractors, the primary operations contractor at WIP, gave an update on shipments and operations at the facility during a public meeting at New Mexico Highlands University in Las Vegas last week. The public forum was held to solicit feedback on WIP's ongoing operation and construction projects intended to keep the site operational for at least 10 more years per Energy Department's latest permit with the state of New Mexico. The permit was approved last year. And Alberto Verduga, 22 of Hobbs, surrendered to law enforcement Friday after a warrant was issued charging him with murder, a first-degree felony, 3 counts of tampering with evidence, shooting at a dwelling or occupied building, and shooting at or from a motor vehicle, all second-degree felonies, and assault with intent to commit a violent felony, a third-degree felony. Verdugo is being held without bail pending a first appearance in court. The charges stem from an October 19th incident where Lee County Sheriff's Office deputy reportedly saw a vehicle swerving into oncoming traffic near the intersection of US 62-180 and Navajo Drive in Hobbs. The deputy reported finding the driver, identified as Jabrian Lowe, 17 of Hobbs, suffering from a gunshot wound. Lowe was taken to Covenant Health Hobbs Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. And in a ruling last week, State District Court Judge Mary Marlowe Sommer stood by her July decision to dismiss an involuntary manslaughter charge against Alec Baldwin in the fatal shooting of cinematographer Elena Hutchins on the set of the Western movie Rust. She said prosecutors did not raise any factual or legal arguments that would justify reversing her decision. And that's the way it is. I'm Blake Ovard. This is MTD Radio News.
PMC Outlet, also known as The Shack, is located at 3106 East Green Street on the Hobbs Highway in Carlsbad and is well worth the drive. PMC's The Shack is a local family-owned indoor grow facility. They have low outlet pricing every day with farm-to-table delivery. They also have plenty of truck and trailer parking. You can find them online at pmccultivators.com or give them a call today, 575-988-8704. The Shack is open Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and on Fridays, 8 to 6. Must be 21 years of age or older or 18 with a medical card.
Are you a mechanic looking for a career, not just a job? Hobbs Truck and Trailer is now hiring heavy-duty and light medium-duty mechanics. $20 to $45 an hour depending on experience. Retirement, insurance packages, uniforms after 30 days. You owe it to yourself to apply now at Hobbs Truck and Trailer. Call 575-433-4166 or apply online at hobbstruckandtrailer.net. Equal opportunity employer.
It's fall, y'all, and that only means one thing. It's time for the Balzano Family Pumpkin Patch. Come help us celebrate 10 years of fall, family, food, and fun. We still have all your favorites like the fishing pond, the farm petting zoo, hay rides, pumpkins in the field, and free wine tasting. But we have lots and lots of new fun activities for all ages. Don't miss our biggest and best year ever. Open every weekend in October. Visit Balzano Vineyard on the web or Facebook. We'll see you on the farm.
Election Day is Tuesday, November 5th. The Family of Excellence at Lucky Services, Lucky Rental Tool, Lucky Health and Safety, and TRM Trucking encourage you to vote. If you can't make it to the polls on Tuesday, November 5th, vote early, but be sure to vote. This year's election will be one of the closest and most consequential in our nation's history, so every vote matters. Thank you for voting and praying for our country and its leaders from the Lucky Family of Excellence. And God bless America.
Calling all clay shooters. Join us for the 3rd annual Freedom Isn't Free Sporting Clay Shoot, including a cornhole tournament at Creekside Clays in Artesia, New Mexico, November 2nd. Come support conservative Republican Harlan Vincent. We'll continue to fight for your freedoms. Thank you to main event sponsors Prestige Equipment Rentals and Power Systems and WX. Early registration and sponsorship still available at harlanvincentfornm.com. For more information, call Rhonda at 575-937-1475. That's 575-937-1475.
There's ghoulishly good deals this week at Bob's Ridgeway with everything you need for a happy trick-or-treat. M&M Mars 150-piece variety pack. Everything you need for the little door knockers, just $19.88. And Halloween specials on Brock's, Charms, Tootsie Roll, Hershey's, M&M Mars variety packs. Everything you need for your Halloween. And it's party time with Big Block Velveeta, just $7.48. Tortino Party Pizzas, 4-pack, just $6.98. Appetizers from Craven, big 8-ounce pack, just $2 for $5. And Holy Guacamole, 15-ounce tub, just $4.99. Those big Hormel gathering trays, 28-ounce, just $12.99. Bees and over 150 ghoulishly good grocery specials this week at Bob's Ridgeway. Where for 50 Halloween, your grocery dollar has always gone farther, and they still carry your groceries out.
So, where were we? Oh, yeah, okay. Show's number 1, again.
Be in the Breakfast Club, on air, online, on your phone.
Yeah, you just might see that it's a brand new morning.
And broadcasting from the Inn of the Mountain God studio.
Snap on your helmet and adjust your cup.
And it is 8:38, and we have a guest in studio today. She is running for Senate against the Marxist incumbent. We're talking, of course, about conservative Nella Domenici. Good morning, Nella.
Good morning.
Nella, good morning.
Right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, right into the microphone as close as you want to get.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
I
All
like
right.
radio shows because you can't change what I say.
Absolutely.
Well,
Once
and
it's
that's,
said, it's said.
that is kind of the point. The other side, and I'm going to bring this up so you don't have to. Your opponent is the current sitting senator, and I've seen some of the ads on social media and YouTube and other things like that, because I don't watch TV out of Albuquerque really for the most part. But a lot of those ads are just outright lies.
Yep.
And they take what you've said and try to twist it and manipulate it. And you know that one side is in trouble, his side is in trouble, when the only arguments they have are lying about you. You know, and so having you in here also lets you set some of that record straight. So I'm just going to hand it to you and say, you bring up the topics and we'll ask some questions as you go.
Well, actually, the line they use lately is that I'm trashing the state. And he uses that in rebuttal to me giving him a report card where I go through very clear data-based facts that prove what a terrible, terrible job he's done.
Well, you're not trashing the state, you're trashing him
and
his record.
I'm not trashing anyone. I'm just reading off the results of his work. The results of his work make us, number one in crime, number one in drug use, number one in the first number one state for doctors exiting our state, which is a huge problem.
Boy,
and the bottom in education, the bottom in economic development, the bottom in early childhood well-being, 49th according to U.S. News and Report. I'm just stating facts. And the sad thing is that he would dare to cause that trash, because behind each fact are hundreds or thousands of people who are suffering as a result of that.
Right.
So if you look at,
but that's the job he's done. Is your opponent, and I'm not going to say his name. That's up to you if you want to. Everybody knows who it is. He has been a big part in making our state the bottom in everything good and the top in everything bad. He, along with the governor, but that's a whole different thing.
And it's because he has the wrong priorities. He doesn't prioritize
New Mexico.
Mexicans. And even like this drug issue. So I met a woman named Kelly just about a week ago. She found me at a fentanyl conference. She came out and pursued me to say, I've been following you. I've been supporting you because Martin Heinrich has failed us, and my son died at the age of 25 due to a fentanyl poisoning. And she proceeded to introduce me to many other parents who had the same suffering. And they talked to me for over an hour, and they were all crying. But he's known about this fentanyl problem for years. He's known that we are a state that has a lot of addiction issues, and he didn't do anything about it until very, very recently, all just as part of the campaign. In fact, yesterday, he had a big op-ed talking about what a terrible problem fentanyl is. Yesterday, that's after we've had multiple years of over 500 deaths. That's after our country has had multiple years of over 75,000 deaths per year. So he's had the wrong priorities, and now he's chasing to try to make up for them, and people can see right through it.
Well, yeah, if you're caught up in the Washington lifestyle and caught up in D.C. and all the politicking and playing to whatever money will buy your vote, you don't care about the state until it comes time for election.
Sure.
And that's what he's proven time and time again.
Well, even to give you just another example, I love to give examples because
Sure.
that means you have backup for what you're saying,
Right.
So yesterday, when the question was asked about Social Security and he was explaining how he would keep Social Security, all I could think about was how he does not care about our senior citizens, because there is no group that's impacted more than senior citizens by inflation. When they were spending trillions of dollars last year for his clean energy programs, they were told by economists around the country that was going to cause inflation. And he knew that would crush our senior citizens who live on a very fixed budget.
Right.
But he didn't care. He cared more about, getting a clean energy bus created than he did about our hundreds of thousands of senior citizens who were going to get crushed by cost of living increases.
Right.
Wow.
And New Mexico is a state where we have a majority of people that are on some kind of government assistance or Social Security pension, some kind of fixed income. So for the majority of New Mexicans, he's actively doing things that hurt New Mexicans.
Exactly. And just sticking to seniors for a moment.
Yeah. Tell us what you want to do.
Acting like he really cares about seniors. Of course, I'll protect Social Security. But I care deeply, deeply about that, and I will protect it. I also care right now. There's not enough doctors in this state. Doctors are leaving this state in droves. We are the only state where doctors are leaving at such a fast pace. Some categories have lost 25% of their doctors. And that's because Martin Heinrich supports New Mexico state representatives and state senators who believe in extreme medical malpractice policies. And our doctors are leaving the state because they cannot afford the medical malpractice policies that Martin Heinrich is supporting. So he acts like he cares about seniors. But if you're a senior and you call a doctor, sometimes it can take 6 months, 7 months to get a visit, even if it's a crisis topic.
Wow.
Speaking of seniors, Anela, now I'm a senior now. I started collecting my benefits last December. Now, I think when I turn 65 this year, Medicare kicks in. And I heard already the nightmares of what it's going to cost me. What can you do about that?
So the real problem with Medicare is that Medicare and Medicaid have set prices for doctors in them. Those prices were set sometimes 20 years ago. They were set a long time ago. And as a result, doctors don't get paid nearly enough for their services. And that's another reason why doctors are leaving our state, because we have such a huge percentage of our population that's on Medicare and Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
So, and doctors have come to me and said, we try to reach Martin Heinrich because we want to talk to him about all the reasons why doctors are leaving, and we can't get time with him. We can't get a voice in this state. So we need leadership that works with the doctors, that works with the healthcare providers to figure out how we can make sure New Mexicans are adequately served. One of the biggest areas, mental health is a huge issue in our state. It's a huge issue. We have like 20% of the service providers we need for mental health.
Wow.
Which is basically not having any.
Right.
And you look at our homeless problems, our veteran problems, our drug addiction problems. These are all, linked to mental health, mental well-being. Even school shootings are linked to mental well-being.
You're right.
And needing to have support in schools. But we don't have enough focus on this area. By the way, we have a lot of money as a state due to the oil and gas industry.
Yes, we do.
But we're not focusing yet. We don't have the right
County.
priorities. Thank you. Exactly.
And you're talking about people getting a hold of Martin Heinrich, and he doesn't respond. If people want to get a hold of you, where can they go to get a hold of you? What are any email, any website, any?
Just go to our website, Nella for Senate, and you'll find everything you need there. You can learn about my views on different policies, but you can also reach out to us via email, text, etc. We'd love to have you on our team. We'd love to have you help us get out the vote. Help put up signs, help go to door to door. We're in the final stretch and we need everyone's help. And we appreciate everyone's help.
Well, and speaking of getting out the vote, that's probably more important this year than ever before. Curtis McKinney, who does our Cranked Up Country Nights, he lives in Carlsbad, and he was reporting on Eddy County over there. And of course, we've had record numbers of Republicans turning out to early vote this year. But he pointed out it's still only 26% have turned out. And while we go, yay, we've got that many that come out early, that's still dismal.
What's so exciting about being, down here in the southeast corner of New Mexico in the oil and gas corner, or being in the northwest corner, just the same. These two corners have a huge opportunity to really drive this election. Historically, turnout has not been high. But we all know there's lots of Republican kind of thinkers in these two corners. And if they would all just get out and vote, 50, 60, 70%, any of those, it would cause a victory. Historically, they've only been getting out at like the 30, 35% range. And if we can get that up to 50 or 60, which is totally doable, that can drive a victory in this race.
I want to touch on some things that are big things nationally as well as in the state. The border. That is a huge deal. All of the people that we have representing us right now don't seem to care about the border, and they want as many illegal foreigners flooding across as they can be.
So Martin Heinrich voted 20 different times against bills that related to border security. 20 different times in 20 years. And that just reflects his value that the border should have been basically wide open and not secure. And he is, attached himself to Kamala Harris, expressing repeatedly how he believes in everything she stands for. And she is so radical on the border. She absolutely believes it should be wide open and these people should just be allowed to come through. And let me give you a little flavor of what's coming through that's really, really bad. It's 500 unaccompanied minors have come through the border. 500,000.
My goodness.
500,000.
Wow.
And that can be fact-checked, and it's a government statistic. And what we know, when 500,000 unaccompanied minors come through, they're coming through with cartels.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
They're
these
trafficked.
cartels are just trafficking them. And as I mentioned yesterday in the debate, I learn a lot about the state by having discussions. Boots on the ground, I meet with all kinds of people.
Right.
And I've met with policemen, sheriffs, but most importantly, I've met with people who run nonprofits that deal with sex trafficked minors and also just women that are sex trafficked. And the sex trafficking that is going on our border, and it's going on because the border was left open and it tempted all these people to come here. The sex trafficking is horrible. Young girls are being raped not 2 times a day, not 3 times a day, sometimes up to 20 is what I have learned from the experts. And they're being drugged up, and within very few days, their lives are totally ruined.
Or dead.
Or dead, exactly. And this is not just a small little thing. It's huge. And what's also wrong, it's not in the press enough. It's hard to learn about this. You have to really go investigate it. But these women from all around South America are having their lives literally destroyed. And it's so ironic. It's so ironic because Martin Heinrich talks about how much he cares about women when he talks about abortion. But if you cared about women, you have to start here at the border because these women are having their lives ruined because America can't say to the rest of the world, we have a security policy at our border, we have a set of procedures in place, and don't come here until you are sure you're going to fall within those procedures.
So, and I know that he supports Kamala Harris in her wide open borders. And I know that you kind of alluded to it, but I want to just lay it out there for you. This is me. It's not you. By him supporting those wide open borders, de facto, Martin Heinrich supports trafficking. He supports
exactly
child trafficking, sex trafficking, all those things. Anyone who supports an open border, they are in full support of the cartels. And, I just don't get it how anyone in the Southwest, New Mexico in particular, can be in favor of open borders because we see it here all the time.
And, Albuquerque has 3 huge cartels that dominate Albuquerque, and they are a distribution system that's well established and well entrenched. And because of the crime that comes with those cartels, Albuquerque really can't grow in a productive way. Companies cannot move and relocate to Albuquerque. It has terrible schools and terrible crime. And Martin Heinrich, when you ask him about jobs, he'll give you some made-up numbers about jobs that are going to come from some clean energy company that's going to come to New Mexico at some time. The reality is Albuquerque and the entire state is being scorched by our crime and our education issues, and it's stopping healthy economic development.
Well, it's funny you should say that. Let's talk about some economic development because we've all seen inflation just go through the roof. I mean, we're talking 25 to 30% inflation across the board since the Harris administration took over with Martin Heinrich in support. How do we help get that under control?
So, we haven't really talked at all about my background, and I studied business, I studied economics, I've worked in finance my whole life. I understand what causes inflation. I understand what it means to have a tight, fiscally controlled budget. I understand what it is to control costs, to cut costs, and to make all those sort of hard decisions. And I've been told repeatedly in the Senate I will be one of the most sophisticated senators on dealing with these issues. And so if we, and it can be done, if we can, first of all, scrub our federal budget of all the waste, which is huge.
Yes.
First, scrub it. Second, prevent new spending sprees like the spending spree of the radical progressives over the last 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And prevent these kind of isolated executive orders like student loan paybacks that go on all the time. If we can prevent those and contain those, and then if we can have an economic policy that drives growth, then our budget will start to get better and better and more in control. Our deficits will get smaller, and all of that will drive down interest rates, which will drive down the cost of food, the cost of gas.
Well, and everybody's seen those things. Like you see it every day when you go to the grocery store, when you go fill up your tank, or you see all that. Now, as a senator, how much influence do you have over the purse strings?
It depends on how big a voice you have, and I will have a big voice. I inherited a big voice. I've met with many senators in Washington over the last year, and the respect that they have for my father is huge, and it's really enormous. And my expertise, and I will get on one of the finance committees, and my expertise plus the committee that I will be on will give me a big voice and a big footprint.
Now, and it's going to help if people turn out to vote, obviously, with that process, because if Donald Trump gets in there, we're more likely to have common sense type fiscal policies. Whereas if Kamala Harris wins the election, we're more likely to have things that very much tend towards Marxism. So that could totally destroy our economy, even with a Senate and a House that wants to do.
You know, along that subject, though, I think New Mexicans really need to think hard about this. The Senate's going Republican. It's going to be Republican. You can look at it 100 ways, and it's going to be. And does New Mexico really want to have 2 Democrat senators? By the way, Martin Heinrich is not a powerful senator. Listen to this ratio. He got 2 bills passed in 12 years. 2 bills that from the time he sponsored them to the time they got passed, in 12 years, he got 2 passed. He issued 5,000 press releases. So what he's good at doing is issuing press releases, not getting bills passed.
Wow.
And so we wanted to compare him to another senator's first 12 years and see if we could understand his 2 medium, bad, good. How does it rank? Well, my father got 22 bills passed in his first 12 years during the same period. Amazing. So he doesn't have a big successful presence. So if he's there along with Ben Ray Lujan, New Mexico will have 2 senators who are weak senators who are Democrats in a Senate that is Republican. How could our state want that?
It's kind of funny you talk about the press releases, because I've talked about that before, being the editor of the newspaper and things. I used to joke that his staff putting out press releases must be bigger than my staff of reporters, because they can put out more stories in a day than we can, you know? And so that's kind of funny that you bring that up. The Democrats really want to make abortion an issue. I'm just going to say, what do you want to say about that?
So abortion should not be an issue in this state, and it should not be an issue in this race. I've said my position on abortion repeatedly. It hasn't changed one iota. It's in writing on my website. I will not support a federal abortion ban. Like Bill Clinton, I think abortion should be safe, legal, and rare, and most importantly, rare. And women should be respected and trusted, and babies should be loved and wanted. And I completely respect that the Supreme Court has given abortion rights to the states. Our state has a policy, which I will abide by. And, at the end of the day, my views on this are actually not that much different than Martin Heinrich's. But what is different is that I am a woman who cares deeply about women, and I've studied this a lot, and I've worked with some of the best female doctors in America. And the best way to help women on the abortion issue is to improve birth control.
Absolutely.
Right now, we have 3 million unintended pregnancies a year in our country. 3 million unintended pregnancies. 1 out of every 3 of those results in an abortion.
Yes.
And this is 2024. There's all sorts of new and highly effective forms of birth control out there. What we need to do is spend this money and time that we spend debating abortion policy and focus it on birth control and make sure that women understand their choices, they're educated on their choices, they have great access to their choices, and they're very affordable. And if we can do that, we will reduce that 3 million unintended pregnancies hugely, and we will therefore reduce abortions hugely.
And our guest is Nella Domenici, in case you're just tuning in. Now, you are going to be down here in Southeast New Mexico today
and tomorrow. We're here for 2 days. We have a whole string of exciting Get Out the Vote events.
Okay.
We're actually traveling around the state last week and this week, really focused on getting out the vote. So I want to repeat that on this radio show one more time. Please get your neighbors out, get your grandma out. It's really cute. My mother is 89 and a half.
89, wow.
And I thought I'd help her get out to vote. And she just told me one day, I took an Uber, and she took her walker, and she voted.
That's awesome.
So cool.
That is awesome.
Exactly. Go Nancy.
Right on. One more time before we have to take a break. Where do people go to find out more about you, to get in contact with the campaign, all of that stuff?
So again, Nella for Senate, just FOR, NellaForSenate.com is our website, and it will help you with anything you need. I look forward to working with all of you in this last 10 days, getting the vote out. Thank you.
10 days. Is that right? Is it 10 days?
7 days from now.
We're a week
8
from
days from
tomorrow,
now.
right?
Oh, 8.
Yeah.
Hey,
Nella, one more I was going to ask you. What is your opinion on the current transgender movement?
Oh, I have a very strong opinion on that, and I keep bringing this up, but a big part of my life, and I'm not saying like a huge part of my life, has been to help other women. I had a very successful career, but what motivated me in that career was that I was a role model for women. I was breaking through glass ceilings for women. When I graduated from Harvard Business School, I graduated at the top of my class, 9 months pregnant. I may have been the first woman to do that. I showed to the world that you can compete in a men's world, graduating top of your class, and still be a woman in her fullest form. So I'm so passionate about this, and I think having biological men compete against girls, our young ladies in sports, is 100% utterly wrong, irresponsible, dangerous, unsafe, and unfair.
There you go. That's pretty concise. And congratulations, because today is Harvard's birthday, apparently. They opened their doors the first day today. We learned earlier on this day in history.
That's a great coincidence. Thank you.
Nella, thank you so much for being here. Anything we missed before I let you go?
We covered a lot, and I just think it's very, very important that we talked about abortion. You have to remember Martin Heinrich has misrepresented me. He's lied. He's expressed things untruthfully, repeatedly. But you should understand my view based on today, or go to my website. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nella. So that is Nella Domenici. NellaForSenate.com is her website. You can go there and check it out. We got to take a break. We still got good news of the day on the way. Tradio is on the way down the line, too. And we'll get to your text when we get back right here on W105.
News. I'm CJ Papa. Vice President Harris swings through Michigan today. 3 stops. She told the crowd yesterday in Philadelphia.
Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work. And make no mistake, we will win. We will win.
Former President Obama will be in Philadelphia today, delivering remarks at a Harris campaign rally. Former President Trump speaking at a sold-out crowd at Madison Square Garden in New York City.
And I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
Today, he travels to suburban Atlanta before holding a rally at Georgia Tech, and German airline Lufthansa extends its Tel Aviv flight suspensions to late November. America's listening to Fox News.
In need of a tow?
those don't have to be dirty words. At Lee County Roadside, they have been offering friendly and knowledgeable service for 20 years. From light to heavy duty, there's nothing they can't tow. And with 24-hour availability, there's no time they can't tow it. Don't make a bad day worse by choosing the wrong tow company. Lee County Roadside, the good guys to call in a bad situation. For 24-hour service, call 575-392-3223 or locate them at 7401 North Del Paso, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Like Lee County Roadside on Facebook and follow them on Instagram.
Dear Plugged In, you in on this? Toyota's versatile SUVs roll up their sleeves and take on tough jobs, dress up for a night out, or haul your family and friends with their spacious interiors. And they're available with some real sweet tech. Want a hybrid SUV? Oh yeah, they got those too. All with a slew of standard features so you won't break the bank. Get the juice at Toyota.com, folks.
Visit Permian Toyota in Hobbs today. Toyota, let's go places.
Are you a mechanic looking for a career, not just a job? Hobbs Truck and Trailer is now hiring heavy-duty and light medium-duty mechanics. $20 to $45 an hour depending on experience. Retirement, insurance packages, uniforms after 30 days. You owe it to yourself to apply now at Hobbs Truck and Trailer. Call 575-433-4166 or apply online at hobbstruckandtrailer.net. Equal opportunity employer.
Calling all clay shooters. Join us for the 3rd annual Freedom Isn't Free Sporting Clay Shoot, including a cornhole tournament at Creekside Clays in Artesia, New Mexico, November 2nd. Come support conservative Republican Harlan Vincent, who will continue to fight for your freedoms. Thank you to main event sponsors Prestige Equipment Rentals and Power Systems and WX. Early registration and sponsorship still available at harlanvincentfornm.com. For more information, call Rhonda at 575-937-1475. That's 575-937-1475.
At Coffee Drilling LLC, they offer a wide range of drilling services, from small domestic water to agricultural and monitor wells. In addition to mud and rotary drilling, Coffee Drilling offers services to pre-existing wells, as well as troubleshooting of pumps and all control systems. Call Coffee Drilling today to schedule your routine maintenance or see about an upgrade to your water system. Call 505-270-1767. That's 505-270-1767. Coffee Drilling LLC, over 20 years experience and serving all of Hobbs, Lovington, and Eunice.
Lee County, it's time to invest in the future of higher education. New Mexico Junior College proudly supports the 2024 New Mexico GEO Bond, and we urge you to vote yes this November. Bond 3 will help renovate campus by enhancing classrooms, offices, restrooms, and more. This bond will boost student success and strengthen our community. Let's make a difference for tomorrow. Vote yes on the New Mexico GEO Bond this November.
This October, it's all treats and no tricks at National Furniture Liquidators. Scary good deals on everything for your home. Ashley Transformer sofas, your choice just $12.88. 5-piece bedroom set, just $5.44. Ashley 3-piece sectional, a steal at $9.77. Huge savings store-wide, plus great financing options regardless of your credit. It's all treats and no tricks at National Furniture Liquidators. When it comes to value, quality, and selection,
nobody beats Shorty. In need of safety and environmental services? Are the other guys not doing their job? JBW Solutions is a veteran-owned company, and they are dedicated to proudly serving the Permian Basin with quality environmental and safety services. Their expert instructors are PEC certified in Safeland USA, H2S Clear, respiratory protection, and confined space. Offering monthly training topics and safety talks, fire extinguisher inspections, DOT and non-DOT drug testing. JBW Solutions is committed to sustaining the Permian Basin's diverse habitat and natural beauty with their remediation and reclamation services, including project management, environmental tech support, soil sampling, and more. Contact them at 860-460-4398 and like them on Facebook.
1, 2, 3,
here we go. You see, this is what happens when you let sick people play with powerful toys.
It's like I've got the winning ticket in my pocket.
Here we go, back to being the Breakfast Club. Be part of the show. 877-396-W105.
Pick up the phone and call me right now.
And it is 9:08 on KWMW Malchmar, otherwise known as W105. We were talking to Nella off the air, and we were talking about oil and gas, and she was like, "Oh, I forgot. I wanted to bring that up." Nella Domenici is a huge supporter of oil and gas.
Amen to that.
And we were talking about power and all that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to point out that if you don't get out and vote, that there's a good chance if you live and work within the sound of our voice in any business that has anything to do with oil and gas, there's a chance you could lose that.
Yeah.
And we were talking about voter turnout so far and everything. And we talked about how Eddy County, we were at 26% earlier for the early voting and stuff. Lee County, I want to talk to you directly. So Lee County, according to the numbers, and we talked about the actual numbers earlier, but that is only 13% have voted so far.
Ain't going to do it.
We need to have, honestly, like 60% voter turnout.
Let's get out there, people. Come on.
So, don't take a chance. Take someone with you. If you work with people who say, yeah, I haven't voted yet, I want to go vote, go, right? Go at lunch, go after work, go on Saturday.
Yeah.
Get it done. Don't wait until the last minute. I realize there are people that say they want to vote on voting day. I get it. And if you're going to do it, make sure you do. If you're willing to stand in that line, right? And hopefully there will be a long line, because if your voice is not heard, there's a chance you could lose everything you have worked for.
That's right.
Your entire life.
Your $300,000 house, your $85,000 truck in front of the driveway.
Yeah.
See ya.
And Nella Domenici, her opponent, Martin Heinrich, who is our current senator, he wants to do away with oil and gas, like totally do away with it. And we talk about it all the time. I like solar. I like green energy where it has its place. We have it at our cabin. It would not work to get your car back and forth.
Right.
Because it doesn't have the range. You're going to be dead on the side of the road. It's not going to work in an industrial facility or a factory or a plant or anything that requires steady, cheap power. It's just not going to work. Now, if you want to talk to Nella directly, and one last thing here, she's going to be in a few places today and tomorrow. Tom, where is she going to be?
All right. About 10:30 this morning, she's going to be at the Quilt Shop in downtown Lovington. That's Deanne's place down there. That'll be at 10:30. Then later on tonight at 6 o'clock, she's going to be at the Hobbs, in Hobbs at the Republican headquarters at 1776 South Turner there in Hobbs. So the big rally there for that. So get out there and see her.
Now, at lunchtime, she's also going to be
at the Lovington Senior Center. Great lunches. I know. I may go down there for lunch. And yeah, she'll be at 11:30 tomorrow morning.
You are going.
11:30 tomorrow morning.
Today
morning.
Yeah. So after the Quilt Shop, she's going to be at the Senior Center.
Senior Center.
All right. So
heavy schedule.
Chance to get some lunch and talk to Nella.
Yes.
And if you want to ask her a specific question, you heard her. She likes visiting with people, and she will be happy to visit with y'all. I know we probably have lots of texts that we need to get to. So Monica and Tom with the text.
Someone is asking, can I still vote if I didn't register? You have until election day to register to vote.
If you can, but you have to register at the polling place, and you have to vote right then.
Yeah. The next one said, Nella is awesome. She really was. I'm going to backtrack a little bit because last week we spoke about maybe her lacking some enthusiasm. And today I saw a completely different version. I thought she was very well, I don't want to say versed, but I guess it is versed because I like how she just stated, she was like, if you have stuff to back it up, you can basically say whatever it is that you need to say. And I admired that. I enjoyed just sitting down and listening to her. She was very, very, very knowledgeable. And I loved that. Absolutely.
Right on.
Businesswoman, awesome. Very intelligent woman.
And she has been successful. And that was one of the things they tried to hit on her for was she's from New Mexico. Her family raised here in New Mexico. She went away to school, went to some pretty good schools.
Yes.
Started business, is successful in business. And has maintained her residency here the whole time, as well as having a house somewhere else. But yeah, they try and paint her as being not from here, when her opponent is actually the one that's not from New Mexico, only moved here to run for a position in the city up there to work his way up to where he is. And then as soon as he became senator, moved to Maryland.
You know, I ain't seen him since he ran 12 years ago.
He only flies in.
Yeah.
And he doesn't come to Southeast New Mexico. He hates oil and gas. And the choice is pretty clear. I mean, who you need to vote for in the Senate race. Do you want a senator that's going to represent New Mexico and New Mexicans?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say that would be Nella.
Yeah.
Someone else said, we haven't had a senator since her dad.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
Now, I got this other story, and it's kind of interesting, and it kind of piggybacks on what we're talking about right now. We'll come back to the text in a second. But it said the radical eco-left setbacks on oil and gas would bleed the state's budget dry. New Mexico lawmakers who control both chambers of the state legislature are considering bringing back previously failed attempted restrictions on oil and gas drilling, which would irreparably crush the state's production and revenue over the coming years. Now, that's according to a recent report out of the state's chief economist, and that's over on oilprice.com. And oilprice.com, if you've ever been there, it's a great resource for oil and gas industry news. The proposed rules would impose setbacks to prevent drilling near residential, educational, and environmental zones. This is part of their 30 by 30. Pay attention. It would reduce oil output, the future oil output, by 5.4%. So the proposal is a 1 mile ban zone. It's actually a 12 mile in radius would decimate the oil and gas industry.
Sure.
That 5.4 wouldn't even come close percent to what it would follow. It would mean a loss of about 12.5 million barrels in the first year. And within early 2030s, you would lose more than 35 million barrels of oil if these eco left get their way. Again, piggyback to the election. This is why it's important for you to vote. These people run unchecked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're not paying attention. We're too busy working.
The original Blake Hater is saying, I would encourage young voters to talk to their parents and ask them how this economy is affecting them. With prices at all-time highs, crime rates are soaring. Talk to your parents and your grandparents and get educated on the effects of the Biden presidency.
And Harris.
I will agree because it is, I mean, it's time. Like, honestly, like if you've ever just had a little bit of an opinion on anything and you've had a voice, like I said, if you have a voice, if you're the youngest, if you're the most educated in your family, if you're the most aware of what's going on, you keep up, share that knowledge with your family, whoever it is. I mean, you've got how many days? 8?
8 days.
8 days.
And remember, it's not just Biden.
Correct.
You know, Harris has said she would not change a thing.
Right.
This is the Harris-Biden presidency.
She said she would not change a thing. And we all know what the definition of insanity is.
Well, and she wants to do worse.
Yeah.
She wants to do worse. Let's look at her policies. She said for her whole life, all the way through when she was running for president, didn't get a single vote, wants to end fracking immediately. Now, she doesn't want to end fracking. She might end fracking. She's not going to let new fracking. She doesn't know where she stands. Baloney. She wants to end fracking.
Yep.
Right? She's just comfortable lying to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Saying what she needs to say.
Continue with the text.
All right. Then this text is saying, Heinrich doesn't want to get rid of oil and gas. He wants to get kickbacks from it. And our U.S. producers will not play that game. But foreigners will, especially the green industries. It's all about corrupt money, says this one text.
Oh, it is about corrupt money, but they make no mistake. They want to end oil and gas. Yes, they like the money, but they hate oil and gas and the people who work in it. This is a case where your political leaders hate you. Martin Heinrich hates the people of Southeast New Mexico.
He can't stand you.
It's why he doesn't ever come here. It's why he lives in Maryland. It's all of those things. Tom?
And you guys are so right. They will do away with it by raising the gasoline so high that we can't even afford it, says this one text.
Amen.
Yeah. 50 cents. We're going to 50 cents into the year already?
Yeah, we got a 30 cent
or 30 cent
increase that's coming up in a couple weeks. like right after the election. They timed it so that it would happen right after the election. Hopefully you won't remember that by the next election. And they don't want it to look bad on them for this election. Notice how they move all their policies to take effect after people vote, because they count on people having a short memory. Any other text, Tom?
Get out and vote, says this one text.
Amen.
Get out. And I say, I ditto that. Please get out and vote. 13% is all we got.
So far. 24 to 26% in Eddy County so far. Lee County, 13%. We were talking about the numbers. We pulled them up on the phone right then. Those are current.
And Blake, do you think that in 4 years things are going to change that much? I don't think so.
I'm going to point to the opposite.
Says the Blake hater.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to point to the opposite. How bad have things gotten in 4 years? So yeah, things can change a lot.
Grocery bill.
4 years is a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, you remember not that long ago when Trump was president, how much was a loaf of bread? $1.29? What's the average now?
I was in
almost $4.
$2.39 at a convenience store
for the cheapest loaf of bread. So it's more than double. More than double.
It's crazy, man.
Right? And yeah, and that's not even 4 years. So yeah, I believe things can change. Do I think it happens fast? Not in the good side. Going bad happens fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like the way we've gone with inflation, like I said, 25 to 30%, your gas prices at the pump being way up, well, it's going to get a lot worse if you have a Kamala Harris presidency. Tom, we caught up?
Yeah, great show, guys. Good morning, and
Good
love
morning.
listening to you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you. W105.
Now, I was looking at this story. A Florida woman was found guilty of murder for leaving her boyfriend to die in a suitcase.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he was zipped into this suitcase in their home, and they found her guilty of second-degree murder in Central Florida. That was 4 years after she was arrested in the death of Jorge Torres, which is her boyfriend, or husband, I guess, boyfriend. Jurors handed down the verdict against her on Friday. They only took 90 minutes to reach that. Now, she had pled not guilty, but they said, yeah, zipping him in a suitcase and leaving him, that's kind of done it. She said they'd been drinking, and she decided to go to sleep thinking that he could get out on his own. That's what she said. Anyway, when she woke up the next morning, she didn't find him, but then remembered he was in the suitcase.
Oh,
so she unzipped it and found him in there. Then she got scared.
Dead as a doorknob.
Called the paramedics, and they came out. They pronounced him DRT. Dead right there.
Dead right there.
And the Supreme Court is passing on Second Amendment challenge to the gun law. They set the case back to the 11th Circuit District for a second look in light of a recent ruling. And they were going to schedule oral arguments on October 21st, but they didn't even provide a reason why they did that. They just kicked it back to the 11th Circuit to reconsider the ruling, and it's in the case of Lorenzo Pierre. I'm looking to see what that was about. It was clarified the methodology in determining whether a firearm regulation complies with the Second Amendment. So that's the one about that. And so they sent it back to the circuit because they don't want to do that right before the election, I think is probably what it was. And John Fetterman says, Donald Trump appeals to Pennsylvanians. He thinks it's astonishing.
Okay.
Well, you got to remember, part of Pennsylvania is very rural. They have a lot of Amish there,
right,
who are registering in record numbers. There is oil and gas in Pennsylvania, so you got a lot of that. But Fetterman is fully back on board. You know, for a while after his shock therapy, I thought he kind of had some common sense. But yeah, there you go. So,
hey, Texter said, you know, we hear all the time how hard they work there in Lee County, but it sure doesn't show up when they go to vote or don't go to vote, says the texter.
Well, and here's the thing. You can work as hard as you want, but if you don't vote, you're letting the people who hate you decide if you're going to get to keep working.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Right?
Sad. Another text said, you know, I've been in the oil field for 10 years now. Under Obama, the U.S. became the top manufacturer in the world. during the Biden administration, the biggest land sale for oil production in the U.S. History occurred. The only thing that has changed, though, since I've started in oil production, is much safer. It's much safer now. Then there's less environmental impact and less injuries. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. Don't fear longer, says the text.
Well, look, let's do it this way. You can say they have the leases up. Yeah, they do. But look at what the state is doing when it comes to leases. Just because they have a lease sale doesn't mean they're going to allow new drilling.
Right.
Like those are two different things. So they allowed the lease sales to go through, but they won't allow any new permits for drilling. So they're two different things. Don't get those confused.
Sure.
Monica? I still got to get to the good news.
I don't think there's any more.
Okay.
Well, this texter says, things can change.
They can. But, look, the best predictability of what someone's going to do is what they've done before, right? Like if somebody's going to change, you can see them changing, right? If you have someone, I don't care, that's in favor of grape juice, and they want, and I'm trying to do this so it's not a political thing. If they're in favor of grape juice and they start deciding that they don't like grape juice, they're not immediately going to go, I don't like grape juice.
Yeah, I hate grape
They will start changing. They'll drink less of it. They'll start going to apple juice or orange juice or something like that until eventually they say, I used to do grape juice, but I don't like it anymore. If you have someone that says, I drink grape juice, and then tomorrow goes, oh, I hate grape juice. Nobody changes like that. Right. So that's not truly how they feel. It might be right that second, but it's not truly who they are. And Kamala Harris, her father, a Marxist professor at Berkeley. Her mother, a Marxist, took her to Canada to raise her for a little while before moving back to Berkeley on the edge of Oakland. Marxist parents. Just like conservative parents tend to raise conservative children, Marxist parents raise Marxist children.
Right.
And that's very much communist.
Yeah.
She has more in common with Karl Marx than she does with any of our previous leaders. Well, maybe Barack Obama, but other than that. So, any more text on?
All right, this text says the guy that said that there's no difference between Obama and Trump on oil seems to forget that under Trump we were energy independent for the first time ever. Our country did not have to buy oil from anyone. Come on, let's wake up, Travis and Roswell, on that. Text.
Amen, Travis. Good. Well said. Well said.
This person said not voting is a vote for the opposition. 34% of registered voters in Lee County in the last election was simply pathetic. And I will absolutely agree.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of times we're telling you guys to get out and vote, and we might be preaching to the choir, but now we're telling you, go and get those people who are not registered or sitting this one out or whatever. I mean, and light a fire under their rear or in their rear or something. Offer them, tell them you'll pay them $20. Tell them you'll take them to freaking lunch
or a beer at the booth. How about that?
Something. I mean, do whatever it is that you have to do. Like, honestly, just everything.
Yeah. Well, and here I want to point out something else. Iceland's economy is outperforming most other European countries after the introduction of a shorter work week.
Oh,
so there's a lot of ways to affect an economy. They have a shorter work week with no less in pay. Now, this is according to research released on Friday. So between 2020 and 2022, 51% of workers in the country had accepted the offer of a shorter working hours, including a 4-day week, and they think the figure is likely to be even higher today. So there's more than one ways to tackle our economic problems, and Donald Trump seems to want to surround himself with people who are economically knowledgeable. Any more text before I get to the good news?
We're good.
All right, then we will head right to the good news. Good news of the day being brought to you by Herschel Rustin Hayes, Farmers Insurance, Rustin Hayes, 1109 West Avenue D in Lovington, 575-396-0513 for all your auto, home, life, and commercial needs. Herschel Rustin Hayes, proud sponsor of the Good News of the Day. Now, a guy in North Carolina found a $20 bill on the ground, Tom. He used it to buy a lottery ticket and then won $1 million.
Oh.
So it was all lucky that he got 20, but then that's good rollover. He told officials the first thing he was going to do was head into Golden Corral and eat everything they got. Are you related to him? And here's pretty epic send-off. A woman in the UK posted a video after her grandfather passed away, and her family honored him by putting his ashes in fireworks.
Oh, wow.
So they went to the beach and set him off at his favorite spot. So popped over. There you go. And a woman in North Carolina posted a video after showing up at her aunt's door and surprising her with a sign that said, "It's a go, kidney buddies for life." An Amazon driver happened to be dropping off a package, and it turned out he also received a life-saving kidney transplant 25 years ago.
Wow.
And all of that is the good news of the day. We got to get out of here. We got the award-winning Russ Black with Tradio up next. But first, I have news. Any other texts before I get to that, guys? Any late ones? Nope. All right. News being brought to you by Roach's Air Conditioning and Heating, the choice for your next HVAC job. With 15 plus years in the business, Roach's Air Conditioning and Heating trains its techs with the requirements and standards of all major ductless companies, servicing in residential and commercial as well as industrial units for the patch. They can even offer new technology like inverter-driven heat pump systems to upgrade old systems. And financing is available. Call Enrique Rocha today, 575-631-1999, and schedule an appointment. That number again for Rocha's Air Conditioning and Heating is 575-631-1999. We are out of here. Hopefully Kevin's back tomorrow and feeling all kinds of better. Right now, we got some news, and that'll be followed by the award-winning Russ Black and Tradio here